$1,911,844,833 naira and 46. I'll take that again. 1,911,844,000,000. 1,000,000,000,000. This money is too much for me. 1,000,000,000,000. I hope that is not on the record. 1,911,840.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back again. My name is KJ, and I'm standing in for Dr. Rudolph to continue on Have Your Say. Sorry, not Have Your Say, but this time 90 Minutes Africa, and you all know that we had a very wonderful time with him and our guest today, who is invariably one of the top poets in Nigeria. It was a very useful discussion. If you didn't watch it, I will advise that you go back and watch it. It was very brilliant. I mean, I was very happy listening to him. This was the kind of people that we met those days in Nigeria, who could discuss on any issue without batting an eye, let alone his own profession. He was able to distinguish himself and what he has been able to put down on paper. So if you didn't watch it, I will advise that you go back and take a look at what we discussed. But again, now we're going to continue to those who watched it and who have questions or an agenda to add to what he said. You are free and you're welcome to have it. I'm just going to go ahead and publish invitations so that we all can come in and discuss. I have one or two other news of what is going on in Nigeria, but that will be after we have been able to deal with this, deal with what we have been able to discuss with this, Mr. The first guest. You're all welcome. So please join us. Let us discuss. Let us talk about the level or the education, as we see right now in Nigeria, and the level of writing, the writing of our own stories, writing of our own history, writing of our own culture and tradition. The only ways that I used to say this sometimes, the only way that cows learn how to become cows is by watching, baby cows watching their mother chew grass. And that's the way they come to realize that they are not lions. They don't eat flesh. They eat grass. And that's how the animal kingdom has maintained, their tradition, if you allow me to say that, even till this moment. That's why birds don't join, other chickens to walk around in people's compound, because they know they are not supposed to be on the ground. They're supposed to be in the air. So if you permit me, I will say, Mr. James, I hope you can see the link, and that's also to Igbo Basics. It was a useful discussion. And I also hope that those who are also writers who are in the platform should join us. While we wait for them, I want you to look at some of the news that are trending in Nigeria while we wait to discuss with these other people. Here, let's listen to this contribution from Channels TV.
Illustrators PDP accuses NAS of abdicating oversight role on administrator. Ibaz in order, Tinubu gave him blanket check. Okore. Sometimes when I hear some of these guys talk, I'm asking myself, do we really understand what do you mean by Tinubu gave him blanket check? What does that mean in English, guys? We run
well, you can write anything on the check.
It's not
that
possible.
would be, you can write any regulation.
So for context, so that's what the Nigerian Tribune is running with. The brief of the president, we are...
Okay, if you put that into context, let us enjoy this music while we wait for our people to populate. Let's listen to this very smatchy sound.
Yama, Yama, Wuru, Ojoro, Mago, Mago, where the Mago Mago dance, where the Wuru Wuru dance, where the Mago Mago dance. Tell your papa country hard. Tell your papa, she. Tell your papa people they die. Tell your papa, she. This one don't pass jaga jaga, 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 yama, yama, wuru, ojoro, mago, mago. Where the mago mago dance? Where the wuru wuru dance? Where the mago mago dance? Tinubu, ebin pa mekunu. Ebin pa mekunu. Tinubu, ebin pa mekunu. Alpha, I swear your papa no try. Too much empty promises. Bala blue grammar, Bula blue wahala. On behalf of Nigerians, take our message to him. Kidnappers, they kill Nigerians. Sheyi try travel by road without your security. Make you feel the pains of fellow Nigerians. You dey fly private jet. Insecurity no be your problem. Nigerians when they travel by road, some of them they face death sentence. Any Orio, Odile, Shagamu, Ore, Bini, experience. Make you tell Mr. President, hunger day, you still want make them cooperate. If people they protest, you soldiers suppress them. Removal of subsidy, a bold step they call it. How much your papa don't save since he removed subsidy? Lagos Calabar Coastal Road, 4.9 billion per kilometer, 700 kilometers, run into multiple trillion. When normal road inside town, no get any attention. Even Dave Mai don't do us mago. Judiciary is compromised. State of emergency inside River State. Graduate, grab am. Definition of this government. Apagio, Natasha. I go soon shoot in a movie. Wait for it, it's coming. Tell your papa, she. Tell your papa, country hard. Tell your papa, she. Tell your papa, people they die. Tell your papa, she. This one don't pass jaga jaga, 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 yama, yama, uru, ojoro, mago, mago. Where the mago mago dance? Where the wuru wuru dance? Where the mago mago dance? Cheyi, Alpha, Omo, Emiloko. You say your papa not the best president. Okay, after 2 years, tell me what your papa don't do. Hunger won't kill us. To buy food, na luxury. Pomo, Eja, Iresi, Ewa, Issue. Gari, Indomie, spaghetti. People they jump inside lagoon because of economic hardship. Very wicked policy, anti-people's policy. Country hard, people they die. Hunger day, your papa no try. We are not against your father. If your papa do well, we go praise him. If you no do well, we go yarn him. To buy food, na luxury. Electricity, na luxury. Your papa don't increase tariff. Even the light, we don't see. To on AC, na luxury. Each one kill us for the country. To buy data, na luxury. 3 hours, you don't finish. Telecommunication companies collide with the government. Banking industry collide with the government to frustrate Nigerians. This not total wickedness. Your papa no be the best president. To buy clothes wear na luxury. One jeans 40k, t-shirt 25k. Ozu go, Ozu come, body no be firewood. Parent work every day, they still no fee pay school fees. Inflation for the nation, Nigerians no fee function.
Shout out to very dark black man. Continue to do what you do best. I hear you.
Okay. You are all welcome. I hope you all had fun with that. That is what the trending social media post in Nigeria, where Idris was able to say exactly what's happening in our society right now and how the people of Nigeria are carrying the weight that's been put on them by this present government. Of course, we all know that what he said is correct, but that music has been banned. Banned that no Nigerian station, TV station, or radio station can carry it. And so it's left on all of us. If you have heard it, make sure it trends. Make sure you repost it. Make sure that anybody who is interested in what goes on in Nigeria hears it. Because that's exactly what is happening in our nation today. The rich are getting richer, and the poor are not only getting poorer, they are dying away. That's the truth of the matter. Comes a point where every moral decadence that you have, is gone. Every moral decadence has become the order of the day. I remember those days in the 80s when they used to say that moral decadence have become. At that time, people can still, things were still very, very better than what it is today. But today in a Nigerian society, the youths no longer have anything to fall back. That brings me also to what we have discussed, what the poet have said. The poet in his writing have been able to capture a lot of what is going on in our society, be it in the education, be it in the public life, be it in the private, in your own love life, that. Poetry has a way of lifting you up, of giving you hope, of giving you an insight or foresight into the next level of life. And that's why those people who read poetry, who are very close to books, have a lot to on their in their plates, a lot to bring to the table. And like I said, in those days, you couldn't be distinguished as a secondary school student if you don't have a lot of this, at your arsenal. Because those days debates were being organized, inter-school debates, inter-class debates, inter-level debates, GS1, GS2 can have a debate, GS3, GS4. In fact, so that knowledge is enhanced. Your teachers give you assignments to go read your newspaper on what Nnamdi Azikiwe has said in the campaign ground, and that becomes a place where discussions are raised in class, and people's knowledge and understanding is enhanced. That's why nobody who went to school in Nigeria before the 90s that cannot tell you exactly what the history of some of the tribes in Africa were. Nobody could have gone through secondary school. You not know who is Kwame Nkrumah, who is Sunday Atta, who is Mansa Musa, who these guys, who is Queen Amina of Zaria, who is the 5 Banza Bokwe states. Nobody, who will not be able to tell you who is Madam Isha and what's that story now? Okay. We all read those books. You were proud to read it. It was not as under compulsion, but as a way of enhancing your knowledge, giving you a holistic view of what Africa, in particular Nigeria, is made of. You read people like Cyprian Quincy, you read people like those days, of course, the people who wrote the English book. I remember one particular one my elder sister used to use called the Ogundukwe. I'm trying to remember, but it's English. I didn't use that, but I saw her use it. Those days, if you speak wrong English, they say you are blown oguns. It was taken from that point. It was fun to see that you read as many books as possible, whether be they story books, fiction stories, or otherwise. Nigerians took pride. I'm talking about Nigeria not because other Africans don't, but because that's a place I knew, what I know. Nigerians took pride in reading the books of Macmillan. Macmillan, became a household name. The stories of the pesetas, the likes of Carlo Quidem, the stories of, I'm trying to remember the titles, not a penny less, not a penny more. That's Jeffrey Archer, the Barbara Catlans, James Hadley Chase. Those are books that you sit and and your friend wants to mess you up. You quote from those things. You tell them that you are a scholar and you are scholarly, discussing. It's not like now, that we're all engaging keyboard fighting and people go to Google and once they get it, nobody verifies what the information is. So this Nigerian, this very respectable Nigerian, has been able to show beyond reasonable doubt that his writing is comparable to any part in the world, and it's something that we all should be proud of, to be able to refer to. Servio Gbadamosi. Mr. Gbadamosi has been able to prove, we are all elated by his discussion, his ability to bring to fore to the play, just by mere, putting words together, you could see the picture. If our leaders were people who articulate and speak with caution, maybe Nigerian youths will have a better vision of where the leaders are trying to lead them to. But you have leaders who tell you that let them be demonstrating, we'll be here chopping. That is what they say. Can you imagine someone like Aminu Kanu going to the Kalakawas and tell them, you know what, you guys go and be demonstrating, we'll be chopping. Can you imagine someone like Awolu addressing the people in the West and saying, well, if we want to go and protest, go and be protesting, we'll be here chopping. Can you imagine that kind of thing? Can you imagine, Nnamdi Azikiwe addressing the people of his party and telling them, people will go and be demonstrating, we'll be here chopping. What kind of a leader will make such careless statement, and still be in leadership, and we all still give him respect? Does such a leader deserve respect? When the youth of your nation, the future of your country, for the ones who you are sitting in the position for, at this point, is saying, we are not able to go any further. We do not have food to eat. Our parents cannot pay school fees. We cannot rent houses. We are being thrown out of our houses. We don't have gas, petrol to put in our vehicles. The salaries you are paying our parents is not even, it doesn't take them home. It leaves them at the office. They trek home, and the person is not consigned. So I wonder what kind of people we're raising. I've seen the young man that you say he's not so young, but I see he looks very young. Doesn't look more than 25 to me though. It's good to see you. I speak stay humble. Whenever I see you, I'm happy we'll have a very robust discussion because you expand, the frontier of knowledge whenever you come, and I like that. We may not agree in some points, but I like, you could see that your discussion is filled with, intellectual research and something that anybody can go and research and verify for himself. So it's good to welcome you into this forum today. I don't know, did you listen to the man who earlier was on the platform?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Yeah, because we operate different time zones.
Oh yes.
Today is Sunday. After church, I was really tired. I had to sleep.
Okay. I hope what you're wearing is not a cassock of the Jesuit priest.
No.
Okay, because
just it's a bit colder this weekend. Okay. Don't know why. So
you know the sect of the priests in the Catholic Church called the Jesuits?
I think I have an idea about.
They wear a brown kashok with a hood, just the way yours is. Okay, so you're welcome.
Thank you.
Where will you want to where we want to weigh in? You want to weigh in on the videos I play? You want to weigh in on the importance of reading wide and vast? Or where do you want to weigh in before we move to other things? Do you want to weigh in on Idris's music that have been banned by MBC and the radio station told not to play it? Do you want to weigh in on Tom Polo? I have the video, but I'll play later. Who has now weighed in? It has now been, people from the rivers have waited for his statement, and now yes, he has now come up with a statement. So we'll be able to dissect all that. You're welcome.
Okay, well, let me start from Tom Polo.
Okay, before I start from Tom Polo, hold on. Let's see his video so you don't shoot him below the belt.
Similar to the throne of becoming the governor of Bayelsa State. No German was there. No way. But even in River State, our son, he will come back and sit on the throne. Yes. He will come and sit on the throne, our son. That kind of thing is not there. We will talk and understand. I want McDonald to tell this public one story. Listen, McDonald, tell them. The whole of the John Nation. Wike is my friend. When he put his bride, Siminaya Fobara, to the throne of becoming the governor of Bayelsa State, no German was there. No German supported Wike to do that job. As we are here, we are only for truth. That is when my father can accept it. Then my mother can accept it. That is politics. No, that because of that, about job in River State, all over the world should not be angry. We can, no matter how he insults us, we are the same people that installed Wike as the governor of the River State. Now that he's in tandem in concert with this our son and they thrown him, we have to now talk to him. We need to dialogue, father and son relationship. Dialogue, talk to Wike. We will bring them together. Even if you do not hear from me, you know I cannot betray you. There is nothing for me to betray John people anymore. Anytime the John people are standing,
okay, I don't know if you're able to make any sense from what he is.
Well, the video the video you played, didn't really change my mind about, even if Tom Polo had said that Wike was a bile, bilious person, I would have still said what I wanted to say. So the thing is that you see this thing recurring in Nigeria about people making the same mistakes, about people not being well informed about politics, not being very, very politically informed, not being educated. And it's maybe because of British colonial indoctrination, the kind of education we have. People will acquire bachelor's degree, whatever, master's, PhD, and they will still not be educated. The kind of education the British man wants them to have. That kind of education where they will be so narrow-minded, where they will not be thinking critically, where they will not be inventive, where they would not want to toe a different path from what they had been taught. It's just the same thing over and over again. Yeah, and they want to, actually make progress. That's the kind of education Now we have a new generation of people, the so-called Gen Zs, who are now trying to get some knowledge. We are not there yet. It's still like the starting point. We are still like less than 5% of what we want to achieve, really, in
Mm.
terms of this education. When I was growing up, and I used to be among the like one in, let's say, 100,000 or so, who probably knew maybe a lot of current affairs, a lot of politics, read a lot of newspapers and stuff. And people thought I was a fool, you understand? But that knowledge today is what people are now seeking for. And, it's now becoming very pricey. And that's what many people don't have. And that's why they are being tossed here and there by waves of events. These people, they think that um, there are certain people who would liberate them from their suffering, from their chains. People like Topo, people like Sari Dokubo, the so-called leaders, these guys, this guy, those people are part of the establishment. You understand? Those people, even if he had come in to say, "Oh, we deal with wicked this and that and that," you wouldn't trust him 100% because they'll still go back and do their meetings, and he'll change his mind. So that's what the problem is. And how do we address this problem? This is what I've said in some other fora that joined, in recent times about the Nigerian diaspora coalescing. We don't have a diaspora movement, a strong base that will upstage the political system, that will dethrone the establishment in Nigeria. We don't have it yet. We've not even started. 98% of Nigerians based in the diaspora, whatever diaspora, whether US, UK, Canada, Belgium, what have you, they're not interested in politics. They're not interested in geopolitics or whatever, current affairs, what's happening. It's just each electoral cycle, people just come together, the frenzy, the enthusiasm, and say, "Oh, we want to change this, we want to do that." After that, everybody goes back. That's not how to do things. If you look at countries like India, I hate to draw this comparison because we mustn't be India. We probably would have to chart our own course differently. But sometimes it's also good to compare um, with countries who have, made progress in the past. You know, they had a very strong diaspora, political diaspora, and they were able to change things in India. India used to be the most corrupt country in the world. My father told me when I was growing up that India used to be very, very corrupt, very, very backward, very, very wretched. But things changed. Some people stood up and said enough was enough, and then India had to do a different path. Today, they're on the path to prosperity, and that has not happened in Nigeria. Every time you hear the last time um there was movement in Nigeria, the Labour Party, so Presidential Campaign Council, and I saw the list, Presidential Campaign Council, and then it was just like the PDP, APC. No, that's not how to do things. You mustn't do it like them. Oh, that a Congress, it has to be like this, like that, because so and so and so people are doing it. No, we need to start re-educating Nigerians. And Nigerians at home, they might not be able to do this because there are several limitations. But Nigerians in diaspora are more empowered, they are more enlightened, they have more financial muscle to do this, to come together, to chart a new course, to start, if it's, let's say, politics or having a political, what it actually means to run a political party. We all live in countries where these people play real politics, politics of development. Somebody mentioned something about the northern elite. These people don't look elite to me. These people look illiterate to me. Yes, I don't see anything elite in. I don't know whether I'm just the only person not seeing anything elite in them. Is it the former governor of Zamfara? I've listened to them. Who sounds elite among them? That they're so intelligent, they are so this, they are so that. I can't see.
You
My
know, I
service
know,
was in the north.
yes,
There
yesterday.
was nothing around that looked elite, that looked intelligent to me, that looked like they were so ingenious. Nothing really. No development. Is it the literacy? Is it the poverty? Is it the wretchedness? Is it, poor health care? What was it? The corruption, the
Okay.
embezzlement of funds? What kind of is that the policy? Some people will say, oh, Igbo people, go and learn politics from the West. Go and learn politics. We are not going to learn that politics. That's not even politics. That's backwardness.
All
So
right. Thank you.
that's
Thank you. I want to slow you down. I want to slow you down. You know, the statement you made, we'll come back to it. That statement yesterday, I was hushed out of a podcast because I said those things, that someone comes and says, these are elites. We need to go learn from them. Well, we'll come back to that. Mr. James, you are welcome. And I know you were in the other platform where that great mind, Nigerian mind, was able to speak and talk about a lot of things of interest. Which area do you want to weigh in on that, on his presentation today?
Oh, you mean the poet?
Yes, the poet.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, it's just what I was talking about. The educational system of Nigeria has collapsed. I think I read it somewhere, I can't remember the exact place, that you don't need ballistic missiles to demolish a country. If you want to demolish a country, attack the educational system, and that's all. You've done the whole job. And this is what the West has succeeded in doing, not only in Nigeria, but the whole of Africa. As I was explaining today, Nigeria virtually, not entirely, but virtually single-handedly liberated Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Angola, South Africa, Guinea-Bissau from the shackles of colonialism. This took the white man unaware. We did it with bare hands. We didn't go to battlefield to demolish colonialism in these countries. So if Nigeria is allowed to continue, it's not going to be in the interest of the West. This is why they've been attacking our educational systems through the NGOs, loans and what have you, we get from IMF, World Bank, and other financial institutions. This is the outcome we are grappling with today. It is very difficult to see a modern Nigerian university graduate reasoning rationally, who is very critical in his or her analysis. It's very difficult. Even the professors. So this is the problem we are grappling with. If the young poet, anyway, it's a young man compared to my age, if the young poet were to be if he were to be doing this business of publishing in the 60s and 70s, he would have been a multimillionaire, because there were a lot of publishing outlets and people were reading voraciously. As I was explaining, we were reading, as high school students, we were reading James Hadley Chase, Harold Robbins, Agatha Christie, what's his name, James Michina. We were just reading voraciously. And how much were these books? 20 kobo, 15 kobo, 30 kobo. So it's a pity the educational system has collapsed. But one advantage we have now is this internet, this social networking. Instead of buying hard copy books, this book can be in soft copies. But government must make it, should I say, compulsory, or they need to redouble their effort to make students to be interested in reading. Our curriculum need to be, but the government will never do it, because they are feasting on the illiteracy of the masses. So if they should educate the masses, it's like committing class suicide. And this is why they send their children to schools in the overseas. So this is how I see the whole show.
Thank you, Mr. James. You are very...
Sorry, you see, people like Chinua Achebe, Cyprien Ekwesi, Wole Soyinka, and Mostutuola, was this man, the author of Concubine, Elechi Amadi.
Elechi Amadi.
Why is it that we are no longer producing those kind of people today? That generation is already gone.
The guy who wrote Her Husband Has Gone Mad Again and all that. You see, the thing is, we have reduced everything to regional and tribal sentiments. You know, those lowering of the standard started in our time. You know, those who read the GSS sets, okay, when it was now made compulsory that certain books must come from the north to be put in the curriculum. You know, so we read one. I'm trying to remember the name. The Passport of Madame Ilia. Passport of Madame Ilia. Of course, at the end of the day, when you read those books and you take them and compare with, you know, writing like Woloshenka or what's the other guy, Olarotomi, you know, or you know, people. Yes, Mind Boy. You know, if you must have read
Peter Abrahams.
Yes.
Cry the beloved country. Cry the beloved country. Zambia shall be free.
Yes. The beautiful ones are not yet born.
Yeah, Akwe, the Ghanaian. Yeah, I get what you mean.
The secondary education was loaded with these things. And you wanted to show that you are not just one of those warming seats. You read. You know, I told the poet that he reminded me, and I had to go to the internet to look for it. The anthology of longer poems.
I remember that book. Also, yes. West African verse. I remember that book. Yeah.
In fact, I think
the author is something Vincent.
Yes.
Something Vincent. I can't remember the author. Anyway.
The author is what's his name? I saw it some few minutes ago.
Is it Theo Vincent or?
Yes, my book, this is not capturing the author. Okay. The one particular one I like was written by Matthew Herod. Matthew Herod. And that was the one I talked about, the rostrum and his son. His son who he never knew, who they went to fight. Now, those poems opened your mind both to what is happening in Nigeria, what is happening outside of Nigeria, and what that is Africa in content, and then the world, because the longer poems were dealing with outside of the Nigerian, the African content. So it enriched education. But what you have now is well, I don't know, but I'll leave Mr. Ike to come in because he probably has a better idea of what happened and what was the role of poetry during your time, sir, and how did you see it? Yeah, Mr. Ike, you are muted.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Happy Sunday to every one of us today. KJ waiting the play. I Jerome school in the Overseen Kende grammar time and had my time off. I my guy in a grandchildren and we kick school.
You are running away from the truth. Okay, let me draw it down because there's something we are missing in Igbo land. And I'm saying Igbo because if your house I will have still gone to that level. There's something I'm missing in Igbo land. Anapoya Ilu. Ilu is a story that carries both moral and otherwise. What is happening to the Ilu in Igbo land? What is happening to it? Do your children know the Igbo Ilu of those stories that tell of the conquest and the lifestyle of Ndibo?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, your window. That breeze coming from your window is disturbing your audio.
Because I wanted to take fresh air because I just came in. I needed fresh air in my home, in my house. Is it disturbing the voice?
Yes, we can hear it. If you close such a way, you're not picking plenty air. Mr. Ike, a very rich man. You're living by the sea. That's why the wind is coming so much.
Yes.
Is it?
Is it better now or this? Is better now?
Yes.
Well, Kate, I think they used to say if you want to hide anything from the Igbo man, hide it in a book, right? That's what they used to say. But I think the generation of stay humble and some of the generation of their age, they are no more. You can't hide anything in the book because for the few weeks I've seen my brother stay humble here. I am really impressed by his level of intellectual. So I think you can no more hide book you can no more hide secret for Igbo men in the book because their generation has taken up, you know, and I'm very, very, very happy that the generation has joined the, you know, the league of, you know, intelligentsia, reading and trying to understand, grasp what is going on around the world, you know. People of my age right now, Mr. James is also an educationist, so for him, it's part of it's like it's part of his life. So he might continue to read until the day he leaves the world, right? But people like us who left school after secondary school class 5 and begin to pursue, you know, become an independent man trying to make a living. Some of us who our parents died when we were very small, you have to fend for yourself. And so our school and my education was all about what can I do to survive, to put food on the table for my family, you know. So the only education I can say that I had is that the education of traveling from one place to another, you know, trying to understand people and their culture, why in search of a better life and, you know, a better way of life. So I think that is one of the greatest education that I think I have. And that's why my life today, my best hobby is traveling. There is nothing, even if the last money that I have in every year I must travel to one part of the world. That has been my life. So I think because of what my sojourning in the days of when I was into business, trying to make a living, that took me to so many places in Nigeria and in West Africa also. So I think that is the education that I think. For example, most of the time when they are telling us about the Mali Empire, you know, during our days in school. But after my 13 years living in Mali, my professor in the university, I can teach him about Mali because all those things they were telling us was story. But that I was able to go to Mali, to live in Mali for 13 good years, travel, as we were talking about yesterday, travel to every nooks and corners of Mali, from Mali to Senegal, from Senegal to Gambia, to Guinea-Conakry, to Guinea, you know, to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, you know. So it took me traveling around, you know. So for me, I think education is the key. The last comment of Brother James, I think he has a very good point, valid point about, you know, the crisis in our educational facility, in the educational institution in Nigeria. Some of the university graduates cannot make a good sentence. In Nigeria, as of today, as I'm talking about, I'm telling you, they're only more concerned about creating content, something that, you know, they're only, you know, more happy creating content. They don't read anymore. Nobody is reading. Because now you can go to Google. If you don't need to read book, now you can you go to Google. Google will tell you something. Now you people has produced AI. I don't know how they are going to read because everything now is at your beck and call. Like in our days, like Brother James was saying, you have to go to books were cheap anyway. That time we don't even know the value of the books because it was like going to buy akara in the market, you know, the prices of books. But I think that people like Brother James, because of their reading and the life they're choosing, and KJ, you know, you people read to the level of, you know, trying to use your, you know, your academic excellence to achieve, to make a mark for yourself. So I am grateful. When you come back to the issue of
but I'm coming to you, Mr. Ike. I'll have to say this in Igbo language. I'm sorry for viewers who are not Igbo. I bundi Igbo. And Igbo la tuli si onye leji ije. Onye ije ka onye no lolo ihama. Do you know that proverb?
Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
So but that is why there's a program. I don't know why your camera went off though.
My camera went off?
Yes. There was a program that used to be called Ichoku sorry, Ojemba, which was dealing with the man that traveled from place to place and the different cultures he met and how he was able to navigate his way through. So, right from the beginning, and I'll come to you, Mr. James, before I come to Humble. Right from the time go, our parents told us that a person who travels wide has more understanding than the person who sits at home. Whether you went to school or not, as long as you travel wide, you are exposed to other culture. What do you say to that, Mr. James? Is it only through education that one can get knowledge?
Let me try to sign out and sign in again.
Okay.
Traveling is part of education. There's a saying here in the Gambia where I live. They said, a traveler can tell you a lot of stories, but he cannot explain everything he has seen. You know, this guy is an enlightened man. Mr. Ike is an enlightened man. These regions he's talking about, I've also traveled around. From Nigeria to the Gambia, we passed through Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal, the Gambia. Then I've been to Liberia, I've been to Ghana. You know, I mean, the area is mentioning, I've been to these areas too. And he's an enlightened man. The fact that he did not go very far, he was not able to proceed beyond secondary school level, does not mean that he's a daft. It's certainly not a daft. There are things he has been saying on this program. I thought he schooled up to first degree level all along. I didn't know that he stopped at secondary school level. His choice of words shows that he's an enlightened man. There's no doubt about that. So I congratulate him. I mean, at least he's able to reason with us. That is one accomplishment. When we talk, we understand what we are talking about.
Yes.
I admire his courage.
Yes.
And
why I said that, I'm coming back to you, Mr. Ike. Why I said that to you is because unless you tell us where you are, I don't think anybody on this program would have been able to. And so I say that this is where you stop. And let me tell you something. Majority of my friends, when I was in Nigeria, were professors and very senior lecturers. So at one point, we always meet and, exchange ideas. So one time they said, they were thinking all this while that I also hold a PhD. So the day they come to discover that I don't have a PhD. So all of the guys said, no, before you go today, we have to give you a PhD on this one because so this is what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you that you have held your own. No, except you tell us, just like Mr. James have said, nobody would have, known where you start. And you have held very, very straight ideas that anybody can accept, and it's something that's written out there. I don't know if Mr. Humble will agree with me on this, what I've said, because you people are the young generation, so we don't know. By the way, while you're answering that, tell us why also, because you went to school, I'm sure you went to school in the 90s. Why is that it's not encouraged for people to read books? How come you read your own book? Well, you said you read newspapers. How come you were able to go outside of the
yeah, very interesting story. I've not had to tell this story, in a long while now, just because, yes, we are here in this country. We don't have a lot of people around to be our audience. So, but before I do that, I just want to correct an impression about education, because I think we have this impression that education is about going to sit in a classroom. And when I see people, even Nigerians around in this country, in the United Kingdom, having that impression, they say, someone is educated just because they have a master's degree. I know so many master's degree holders in this United Kingdom that can't reason as intelligently as a secondary school leaver from Southern Africa. Because those people are good, because their education system is still solid. They reason better than many of our master's holders around here in the UK, to be honest. Yeah, so education is not about the school. There are several, forms of education, really. Regarding, for me, when I was growing up, history was no longer a thing. Geography was no longer a thing. All those reading of books and all those things, we are almost dead. But maybe I was a bit lucky that I found myself in an environment growing up in the family where the reading culture was still very strong. Reading was like a must, and not just, reading books. I started reading at 6, you know, um, reading the Bible, reading books, everything I could lay my hands on, reading novels. Um, at JS1, I was able to read almost all those African writers series, all the Achebes books, all the Ekwensis books, all the many African writers series, books, Peter Abraham's Mind Boy, A Rate for the Maidens, Because of Women by Dallas on the Poco, a whole lot of them, So I read that this guy also that I so much love, the one that wrote the village school, Anezi Okoro, who is late now. Oh my God. He was the first professor of dermatology in West Africa. When I read his book, I was in JS1, and I didn't even know he was a doctor because he wrote the village school and the village headmaster. And then he wrote one book, Dr. Amadi's Postings. And when I read that book, I was like, whoever wrote this book must have sound knowledge of medicine. It was later when I was in the university that I attended an occasion where he was this special guest of honor. Oh, I said, oh, this guy is so I maybe was lucky to find myself in an environment where reading was a thing, and I embraced it. So many people were not keen then. Yeah, I remember, being ridiculed numerous times, and some people saying, go and find it in the newspaper, things like that. And I did go to newspaper stands a number of times because my father cannot do without reading newspapers. So I used to buy newspapers for him as well. So I used to go there, read, argue, when I was in secondary school as well, do some political debates as well with those men those days. So yeah, I read this guy's articles, Okendibe. Even this guy that came here yesterday, he used to be quite anti-Igbo. He is write-ups. Yeah, so I used to do jump and pass, Perebrima. So yeah, so I think education is not just about the school system, and that's what we need to change in Nigeria. But the main points that I want to make is, why are we where we are in education in Nigeria? So I totally agree with you that tribalism brought us where we are, because even when the colonial masters, handed over power to the Fulani oligarchs, they knew, that the Northerners were so backward. That was one. Then also two, there was rivalry between the East and the West. The rivalry between the East and the West did not start from Tinubu. Sometimes when I hear that, Tinubu, there was rivalry between the East and the West. When Bernard Baudelaire divided the Southern Protectorates into East and West, that was even where the problem, where some of the problems were compounded, because he divided the Igbos into Eastern and Western Igbos. And it was because of them not winning, the Ekumeku War, that the colonial masters fought.
Yeah, they refused to forgive the Igbos.
31 years. So
yeah.
they still did not forgive the Anioma people for fighting against them for 31 years. So they divided the Igbos into West and East, and that was where that division actually started. So about a point, the rivalry between the East and the West was a healthy one because they were developing, and the Eastern Nigeria and Western Nigeria were at par with countries like South Korea and Malaysia in the late 50s and early 60s. And they were and it was projected that, if that had continued, by now, East and West will be developed countries or developed regions at the least, will be regarded as developed countries at the least. But of course, you know that the Nigerian project is not a project that was designed to favor Nigerians or to make the lives of Nigerians. It is a project, it's the business enterprise of the colonial masters. So, so it affected every sphere of life, every sector, including education. And after the Civil War, the West were more enamored with beating the East. So they did everything they could to get ahead of the East, including even compromising the system. And you remember that before the Civil War, the East controlled the Federal Civil Service. And that was the golden age of the civil service in Nigeria. And since the Civil War ended, the Federal Civil Service has been controlled by the North and the West. And the civil service has been in shambles since then. It's been all corruption, it's been all looting, it's been all embezzlement, it's been all incompetence. And the Federal Civil Service is a laughingstock. And that's why Nigeria is where it is. So the reason why I'm saying all these things is that so many people watch these things and so many people listen to us, and they depend on us for enlightenment, for education. So that's why I take all this time to explain all these things, so that whoever is listening, there are many young people as well who are interested, so that they know all these things. Call a spade a spade. That's what I am here for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, you have said quite a lot. And I remember that the Ekumeku War, that's why sometimes when people come here and they say all kinds of things, I used to wonder, maybe I keep quiet most times because I don't want, there's one term that happens now, and I'm sure Mr. James will have heard that many times. Before you say anything, they say this is conspiracy theory, this is propaganda, you are now waving propaganda. The Ekumeku War was what was fought for 31 years against the British. And that Ekumeku War was one of the sins of the Igbos against the British establishment. Consequently, it didn't favor the Igbos. But I know that Mr. James is a historian. I probably have researched also into that. I may want to enlighten us. But even when you go ahead to do that, has poetry been able to advance the cause of telling stories in Nigeria, or has it not? That is part of what I want you to also answer.
No, poetry has not been able, because poetry is a specialized aspect of literature. It's specialized in a way. You can pick up Things Fall Apart, No Longer at Ease, Concubine by Leche Amadi, Cry the Beloved Country, irrespective of your training. You can be a medical doctor, a mathematician, or whatever it is. You get the message they are putting across. But that is not the case with poetry. So majority of Nigerians are not, they don't read poems, frankly speaking. They don't read poems. So that's just one thing I noticed. In Southern Africa, I do not know how they developed the idea, their love for poetry. When they speak, the high school students I saw over there, because I was there for about, I spent about 10 years in Johannesburg. When the high school students they are discussing with you, they use some, they spice it with poetry. Maybe it's in the neighborhood where I grew up, where I do not know. But they are more, they prefer The way they discuss is a bit different from the way we discuss in West Africa. Though we speak English, they have their own brand of English. That is true. Just like you have American and British English, there's South African English, which they understand very well. But when it comes to poetry, they do better than us because, as I said, we don't read poetry much in West Africa. It's only those who are trained, who receive the training at school, that are able to understand the message. Anyway, that's just how I see it. If you read, what's this book called? Tell Freedom. I don't know if you've read it. Tell Freedom by Peter Abrahams. No, you are muted.
Oh no, I know about that title, but I can't remember.
Okay. Tell Freedom by Peter Abrahams. It's a Jamaican who lived in South Africa. I think he lectured there and he wrote the book, and he spies the work with poetry. When you are reading between the lines, you see some poetic expressions. Anyway, and that's just how I see it. As for the Ekumeku War, I've not read anything about it.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Ike, the ball is in your court. What do you have to say?
I think, well, I have to admit that, like Brother James and Stay Humble said, I do recognize that traveling is part of education, and I like, when I was growing up, I love politics and international affairs. So it made me to always want to know what is happening in other parts of the world. So I'm always in tune with the happenings around me and around the world. And I love politics. And because of my loving politics, when I was in school, I schooled in CMS Grammar School, Lagos, right? And some of my classmates today, some of them are major generals in Nigerian Army. Some of them are, they are in positions of power in Nigeria, right? But this politics of, like Stay Humble was saying, the politics of the Yorubas and the North and the East, Some of us who are from the East, our set in CMS Grammar School, we are not, I don't know how many of us that are, made it to the top. But some of my friends who are in Igbobi College, the first son of Fela Kuti was my school, was my schoolmate. Femi, right? Femi Ransom Kuti, he was my schoolmate, but he was in Igbobi College. Well, we are friends. I was in CMS, he was in Igbobi College, So, and because of the cultures of the Igbos are known for, family meeting, towns union meeting, those kind of stuff. So those things molded my life, right? After I left school, like as I said, I was living in Lagos trying to make ends. I never failed to attend my town's meeting. I never failed not to be part of it. So, and I grew up being that kind of a person. And when I left Nigeria to Mali, I became so much involved in community activities. I became the president of Igbo community in Mali, and I became the vice president of Nigerian community in Mali. So, I played a lot of part in the Nigerian community and the Igbo community. In the days of Obasanjo, I still have my pictures with Obasanjo, and the only person I refused to receive when he came to Mali was Abacha. And some of us who denied not to receive Abacha, we never found it easy, because the Nigerian embassy came after us. But because of my community activities, I'm close to the government of Mali, the police, the gendarme, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because Mali was a transporting point for Nigerians who are into prostitution, these boys that are selling girls. So every day you are called to come to police or go to somewhere, you know, to go. So it was my life, you know. So, and I was happy with politics in 1979 during the days of NPP, GNPP. There were so many things you can ask me about. What I studied in school, I wouldn't know. But when you ask me about the politics of 1979, then, you know, the NPP, the UP, and the GNPP, you know, all the whole political, you know, political big wigs, you know, the whole political part, I know them by their names. And when I live in Lagos, you know, Adeni Ogunsa, I go to his house every day because he was the NPP, you know, before Akim Fosile took over as the chairman of NPP. So it has been my life, you know. And everywhere I go, I try to create that enabling environment. You know, I try to get involved in the community. That's the first thing I do. Wherever I go, I want to get involved in the community. I want to get used to know the community. When I went to live in Kaduna for 5 years, I was also the social welfare of Igbo community and social welfare of Nigerian community in Kaduna State. So I'm involved in all these things, you know. So that's my education that is what really prepared me for life, you know. And eventually I ended up, you know, being a Christian, not only being a Christian, but becoming a servant of God, you know, working in the ministry of Jesus Christ and, you know, having positions in so many departments in churches. I planted our church in Senegal. I planted our church in Gambia. I planted our church in Guinea-Bissau. And I made the church, I planted the church in Mali also, and I built 5 branches of the church in Mali, you know, before I left Africa. So, you know, it has been my journey, you know, it has been my journey of serving people. My life has always been service. You know, I've never been served, but my life has always been service. But so I'm grateful.
Thank you for your service. I will mention, talking about still on the line of poetry. Let us listen to this and we'll come back to you. I played it before, but now that you're here, I want you all to weigh into it.
Tell your papa, she. Tell your papa, country hard. Tell your papa, she. Tell your papa, people they die. Tell your papa, she. This one don't pass jaga jaga, 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 yama, yama, wuru, ojoro, mago, mago. Where the mago mago dance? Where the wuru wuru dance? Where the mago mago dance?
Shey, ebi pa mekunu. Tinubu, ebi pa mekunu. Shey, ebi pa mekunu. Tinubu, ebi pa mekunu.
Shey, how far? I swear your papa no try. Too much empty promises. Bala blue grammar, Bula blue wahala. On behalf of Nigerians, take our message to him. Kidnappers, they kill Nigerians. Sheyi, try travel by road without your security. Make you feel the pains of fellow Nigerians. You they fly private jet. Insecurity no be your problem. Nigerians where they travel by road. Some of them they face death sentence. Any Odio, Odile, Shagamu, Ore, Bini, experience. Make you tell Mr. President, hunger day, you still want make them cooperate.
Okay. Now, when we were growing up and in school, we were told that poetry, drama, and works of arts is most times used to draw attention to what the society is suffering. Hence, we celebrate the likes of Fela Rason Kuti, who was always drawing attention of what the Nigerian citizens are going, through. And now we have the likes of Idris, who has, invariably been using his music to reach out, to draw attention of the government to the plight of Nigerians. But in this circumstance, his own music has been banned by the Nigerian Broadcasting Network. Yes, Nigerian Broadcasting Commission. And the reason being that he was criticizing the president and his son. Mr. I stay humble. This music is tailored towards your own age. And do you see his message being conveyed properly? And if so, do you have any reservation in his method of trying to present it to the Nigerian people?
Okay, well, yeah, I think he has a point, really. He has passed his message to them. Yeah, if he didn't convey the message, they probably wouldn't ban him. Really. So there is a message in his music. And remember that this is not the first time that the guy who suffers. He was at the receiving end of Obasanjo's wrath. And he was so unfortunate. He probably was going to be a superstar. Well, so unfortunate that he emerged during the era when there was no social media. There was no new media. It was just the mainstream media, and they had to knock him off the mainstream, and he didn't really make progress after that. If it was at this age, he probably would have gone far. So I think he's trying to resuscitate his music career. I didn't even know about the music before the ban. So I think the ban has succeeded in popularizing him, I think, and making people, maybe there are some people in the NBC, really, who do not like what's going on in the government. And they think, oh, if we actually publish the circular that we banned this music, I think it will make the music popular. If we see it in that light, I think so, because nobody knew about the music. To be honest, I didn't know about the music. I had not seen any other person that said they knew about the music. But now that they banned him, they banned the music. And I don't think there was any government-owned media organization or even all these private, because truth be told, most of these private, so-called private, let's say channels, Arise, what have you, News Central, all these Lagos Ibadan media, they are all government-owned. They're just private in theory. In practice, you know what I'm saying. In practice, they are all government-funded. So no government-funded media will even play the music to start with, even without the NBC. So I think it's just some people in the NBC wanting to make the music popular. And they're saying, you know what, if we publish a circular saying that we've banned this music, people will actually be curious to know what's going on. And then, because you don't even need, how many of these media houses played music, really?
Okay. Thank you. Mr. James, do you think that the Nigerian authorities are still living the days of NTA? Because before now, if you say news should not be carried, and you go to NTA, you tell the management of NTA, don't carry this news. And then the Nigerian people are not able to hear it. But now, are they still sleeping in the yesterday?
Yeah, they are still living in the, I think they call it analog world. You get what I mean? Yes. We are living in a digital age. Now, if you get a mobile phone, take a newly released mobile phone, give it to a Nigerian minister, this old man, to operate it. There's every possibility that he cannot fathom what to do with it. Let alone, I mean, this is what is happening. So they don't know how powerful the news media is right now, unlike what it used to be. During apartheid South Africa, there was a lady they called Miriam Makeba. She was a musician.
Mm-hmm.
She went on a foreign tour to perform, her musical, what's it called, jamboree or whatever it is. The apartheid authorities committed a fatal error. They banned her from returning to South Africa. So she went to Guinea Conakry under Sekou Touré's regime. And that action catapulted her into limelight. She was one of, in fact, she's the not the greatest, but among the greatest musicians Africa has ever produced, Miriam Makeba. Another fellow is Alan Paton, the author of Cry, The Beloved Country. He founded the Liberal Party of South Africa. He was anti-apartheid. Because of the persecution he received from the apartheid authority, that book titled Cry, The Beloved Country became a bestseller till today. Very few people of my age group did not read that book. We all read the book. In fact, when I was in Form 2 or 3, it was the abridged version was the recommended text. But when I went to Kingsway stores in Benin, I saw the unabridged version. So out of sheer curiosity, I bought it and I read it. And I got an in-depth understanding of what the man was talking about. So it's an act of foolishness for government to say we are banning a book or we are banning music or whatever it is. It's just because they don't know how powerful the social networking is these days. Social networking has brought governments down. In the Gambia here where I live, Yahya Jammeh lost elections because of social media. He tried to control it, did all he could, and somersaulted and did, but to no avail. And it was social media that swept him out of office after 22 years' reign. So the Nigerian government, it's not surprising that they are following the same pattern. Even Fela Kuti, if the military had not descended on him, probably he would not have been as popular as he was in his lifetime. So the best thing to do is just to ignore them. Let them play whatever they want to do. Just pretend as if you do not know what is going on. But if you want to descend on them, you are wasting your time. You just make them popular. Not only that, they become millionaires. Just like this guy, this Dele Rotimi, this bearded guy who had problem with Afe Babalola.
Dele Rotimi.
The book he wrote would not have been as popular as it is now, if not that they descended on him unjustly. So it's an act of foolishness for any government official to try to suppress works of art. Just leave them, let them do whatever they want to do. And if you do not utter a word, people will not even know what they have done in secret. But if you try to control them, you run into formidable problems.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ike.
FM in Nigeria, did they also ban it with FM radio stations in Nigeria? Are they part of NBC, whatever?
Yes, NBC controls every broadcast house in Nigeria, whether they are radio or television.
Okay.
Yes.
But I think somebody was saying yesterday here, or where I was hearing that since the ban, as of yesterday, about 1.5 million view already as of yesterday. So the message of the brother has always, the message is the same thing that we come here every day to talk about in the platform. It's the same thing. It's the same message that we come here to give about the government of the day. I don't see anything that was bad in what he's saying is really 99 and 1000% is everything he's saying is true. So why are they uncomfortable about what he's saying? It's the same thing we say here every day. So for the son that went out, he's going about saying that his father is the best president Nigeria ever had. So we are supposed to give him the message to go and give to his dad. So what is wrong with that? You know, like Brother James said, when you ban something, whenever you say you ban something, that's when people go for it. So the young man, they ban his music in Nigeria, but through social networking, he's becoming a millionaire. I mean, then in the next 1, 2, 3 months, he becomes a millionaire. You know, who cares? Does it matter? It will not stop him from singing the music he's singing, because, like Stay Humble said, when he sang Nigeria Jaga Jaga, Nigeria Jaga, you know, so it's his style of music, and he's saying what people who are activists, that's what they say. They stand on what they believe in. Ras Kimono, he was doing it with his music. The late Sonny Okosi was doing it with his music. Fela was doing it with his music. So you cannot stop it. It's a moving train. You cannot stop. So the more they try to do this, the more popular the guy gets.
Okay, thank you so much. I Stay Humble, you have weighed in, so let's move on, right? Did you speak on the music?
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Let's make traction. There is a news I want us to weigh in, and it's going to be a very short discussion, but let's look at it. Very key, very key. What's happening right now? Very key.
Hello, everyone. This is not supposed to be funny in any way, but at the same time, it is funny. You know, there are certain things that they are tragic, but they end up looking funny. This is one of them. The National Security Advisor's car has been stolen by criminals.
Yeah, I heard it.
Whether it's personal car, his office car. I'm trying to make it make sense. This is the person that's supposed to be advising the nation on securing lives and property. As in the thieves no even fear face, they kukuma carrying car. Well, Sahara reporter says criminals cut away NSA Ribadu's office healers during Jumat prayers in Abuja. It was gathered that the vehicle was parked around 1:05 p.m. opposite Abuja Municipal Area Council Ama Complex in Area 10, while the official attended prayers at a neighboring mosque. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has initiated a search following the theft of a black Toyota Hilux vehicle belonging to the office of the National Security Advisor Nuru Hibrubado, which was stolen during Friday's Juma prayers in Abuja. So the first thing, like I saw a tweet that someone did, was to say normally, like, you expect cars that are from there. You know, when they say the National Security Advisor, this is like a place where, you know, high-tech surveillance, all these, you know, those kind of things that you see in film where they carry something. That's what you expect, you know, those kind of things to be there. You expect them to have trackers, you expect them to have monitors, you expect them to have this list.
Okay. I stay humble. When armed robbers, no, let me say armed robbers, thieves start going to steal in the barracks, is there any hope for that community where thieves now go into the barracks to go and steal? Because when we are growing up, they say thief, not the thief for barrack. But now thieves are going to steal in the barracks. This is the National Security Advisor. In other words, the head of the security outfit in Nigeria. His car was stolen by theft. What does it say of where we are?
This is no news. Terrorists invaded Nigerian Defense Academy, where they train professional soldiers. You get the point? And up till now, they are not giving us any clear-cut answer. They raided the Kuje prison. Up till now, no clear-cut answer. So what is new? It's just a car that's sold. So is it because it belongs to the man? But what's surprising me is, was there no security man looking after the car while he was going inside to pray? Or probably the security men and himself, they are all Muslims, let me put it that way. So they were all inside the mosque. But anyway, that is their own problem. It should not really bother us, because what we are going through is not the issue of car theft or whatever. These are trivial issues compared to what is happening in Plateau, or what happened in Plateau recently, what happened in Benue State. We are grappling with existential problems, not the theft of motor cars. It's too trivial to deserve our attention. This is how I see it.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm coming to you. I speak. Stay humble. Sometime in Babangida's administration, he
Yeah,
was in,
yeah. I remember he was praying when he lost his shoes.
and then yes, it was even his ring. You know
Okay.
that was a ring he was having, and he was shaking people after the Jumat prayer, and that ring was taken off, and he disappeared immediately from the spot, and then manhunt for that ring was set out. I don't know if they recovered it. But again, same thing has repeated itself. And I don't want to play down. The reason why we're not discussing what is going on right now, I have some pictures, but I don't have all the full detail. I'm trying to get someone who is in Benue or Plateau State to come discuss with us what is going on ground, those who are on ground. So, but on this same issue, the significance of the theft is what I want us to narrow down. It's a simple vehicle, yeah? But don't you think a national security advisor's vehicle should have some form of trackers? Even
No,
when
no.
they are get trackers.
Defense Academy, Kaduna, is a military university. The best brains in the military should be there lecturing or receiving lectures. If terrorists can go there, invade the place, and even capture professional soldiers, these are ragtag, what you call terrorists, cut away the soldiers. Is that not more serious than a missing vehicle?
All right. Thank you. Let me hear Mr. Stay Humble. Stay Humble, what's your own take?
Okay, so yeah, I think the mistake people make sometimes is that they tend to overrate the systems that we operate in Nigeria. Most of the systems we operate are quite archaic, obsolete, and they are not efficient. And they're just there to, you know, to give the impression that something is existing. Really, so don't overrate. Someone has mentioned the Nigerian Defense Academy. My youth service I did in the military as well. So, don't overrate those institutions in Nigeria. People's understanding of security and safety in Nigeria is different from what it actually is. I was discussing with a relative recently, and they said, "Oh, when you come back to Nigeria, when next you come in, don't have any thought about security." Someone came back recently and he hired an army personnel. So they go hire an army person. Is that security? What of security of property? Would the army personnel say, what of fire outbreak and all those kind of things? What is in place? So yeah, the understanding of security is, really, really poor. And people tend to overrate these things. So back to the National Security Advisor, really, I don't rate those people. I don't even like to comment on them because, there are more important things to talk about. But I think if his vehicle or if one of the official numerous vehicles that they use to siphon funds, because they keep on buying these vehicles every time. Say, oh, those vehicles, they are no longer in good condition and they will cut away those vehicles, buy other vehicles. So, whoever took the vehicle, maybe they knew it was, or maybe there was something in the vehicle. This is a political season. We are approaching the election. If there are documents there, if there are files there, they might be interested in those
Or
things.
money.
That's what I think. Then also, I listened to what Aisha said from beginning to end yesterday, and I dropped a comment. She said that if one of the vehicles belonging to the Office of the National Security Advisor was stolen, and all they could do was to report to the police, despite all their paraphernalia of tracking and everything. Yeah, that's where I disagree with her really, because it should be reported to the police. Their paraphernalia of office is for national security, really. So it should be every theft and whatever in a sane society, in a decent society, should be reported to the police. And that also it inspires me to speak to the broader issues that we have about people not understanding the roles of, saying when they talk about security agencies, they mention the military as security. It makes me mad. Say, what kind of country? Why are people so uneducated? The military, whatever, they are not security agencies. They are for defense. And then I hear things like paramilitary. Where did people get those terminologies from? NYSA, what is paramilitary? Where did people get to police paramilitary? What do you mean by paramilitary?
Let me tell you what they mean. Because
I'm tired
at
of
least,
Nigeria and the way Nigerians, just reason.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason why they give those titles because in the first place, there was a time a move was made to remove the Nigerian police from the military setup because it is said that as a police, they're not supposed to be force. It is supposed to be civil. But the then leadership of the police didn't want that name to be removed. I'm just simply saying that the name police force gives them more power to do certain evil than to say, make them a civilian outfit. Now, the paramilitary is just trying to find a way to bridge the gap, to make you think that these people, they are also as good as the army. But you see, all those terms are not necessarily going to solve the problem of Nigerian people. And I don't even want to go into that because it take a long discussion, take us away from where we're going. But where we're going, and I want all of us to chew on, is the fact that it's like I don't know how to put it, but if this can happen, and you know why Aisha said that they are saying they're going to report to the police. You people say you have drones, you have surveillance, you monitor phone calls, you have all these gadgets that can be able to trace something and lock it down in just few seconds. How come your cars you are stolen and you're not able to follow those put these things in action immediately and track it down? I don't know if you're understanding what I'm saying. It's like the FBI boss goes to park her car somewhere to wash it, and she comes out and the car is gone. Voila! Forgetting in every of those cars you have all kinds of government gadgets in it. Communication gadget that is one dies straight to the presidency or any other person. So what you are carrying away is a total office of the National Security Advisor.
So
Don't it makes any sense that they should be tracked down immediately?
So there is something that I want to correct. There is an anomaly in Nigeria that I want to correct.
Okay.
Now, those tracking and everything, they are the functions of the police. The office of the National Security Advisor is not equivalent to FBI. It's not CIA. It's just a National Security Advisor. Let's get these things right. Because we have young people coming up and they are being misled, they are being misinformed. They don't even know what is right again, what should be done, and what a normal system should be. Those are the functions of the police in a system that is working, not the National Security Advisor. Forget that we've bastardized everything. We now have some people called DSS and all those kind of things. These are the functions of the police. Then the police should have departments. The National Security Advisor is a National Security Advisor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ike. Welcome, Pastor. We'll come to you. We'll come to you after. We'll come to Mr. Tony, then come to you, sir. Mr. Ike, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me, in the perspectives, Stay Humble is talking about division of labor. But when you are a national security advisor of a country, my brother, the security of this country, you knows it much more better than everybody. And the tracking, probably, if I might understand where KJ is coming from, the tracking is that car is supposed to be an inbuilt tracking, or something that you drive that car for 5 minutes, it will stop working. And I think maybe that's what KJ is trying to talk about. Because if the car of a national security advisor can be taken away where he was praying, my brother, it shows. I don't know what it is about your country. If you even though we are trying to divide labor, but they are telling, like Brother James, for example, who is in Gambia, the national security advisor to the president of Gambia went to buy something in supermarket, and somebody took his car, right? I expected that such a position in a country, that car supposed to have a monitoring something, or something that can track, or something can, when you drive it for 5 minutes, it will stop working. That's my point. And I think like somebody said here, in that truck, in that pickup, there might be files, there might be sensitive file in that pickup. There might be a file that is a national risk for me and you as a country in that stroke. So it's not only that we are not supposed to talk about the when to pray, they carry the car. No, but what of the consequences of that car taken away? The repercussion of the car being taken away in such a way, what does car contain? It's like you stay humble, you're the managing director of a bank. Probably you are coming back from work, or you went to a seminar, and there is a file, and you went to buy something in the supermarket. Before you come, your car has gone. There might be file that you are holding in that car that is sensitive to your banking industry. So that's my area of concern. Not they took the car. It's not about the car, but I expected that car cannot work more than 5 minutes and it will stop. Or probably there will be something that they will use to track that car, to know where that car went. But eventually, this is Nigeria for you. So I think it's funny. Honestly.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ike. Sorry, Mr. James, you want to leave. Do you have final thoughts before you go?
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, there's a British poet, I think his name is Geoffrey Chaucer. He wrote Canterbury Tales. He said, if gold rusts, what will iron do? That is the situation we find ourselves now. It's Geoffrey Chaucer, yes, Chaucer said, if gold rusts, what will iron do? If a national security advisor's car is missing, it means we are finished. In Zulu language, in South Africa, they will say Siyafa. Siyafa in Zulu means we are finished. So that's it. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much, Mr. James, and good night to you. Yes, thank you, sir. Tony, you have been having our discussion so far, and it's like the words of Mr. James. If gold gets rusted, what will the iron do then? It will become sand. So if the National Security Advisor's car can be taken away, and up to now, nobody knows where it is, what about the ordinary man in the street who is using his keke, or who has his small car that he's using to make money by dropping people? If he gets lost, that means he shouldn't even think about it.
Greetings, everybody. I've been actually listening, from the first program up till now, before I joined in. Well, yes, it can be very embarrassing, but as we speak, here in America, we're dealing with the residence of the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, that was invaded. You would wonder by an arsonist set fire on the place, broke the place while they were sleeping. You'll be wondering, how can this happen to a governor of a state? And I know that in the past, I think that was during Obama's period, you had some breaches even in the White House. Some fellow, he actually got into, the White House, and he was stopped somewhere and so on and so forth. So these things happen. We don't know what the details are, but I would think that for a personality like that, a highly placed retired police officer and a national security advisor, and an former EFCC chairman, that such issues, the issues of security and safety, will be topmost in his mind. We don't know. The optics doesn't look good. We don't know the details yet, but I think that whoever did that, I don't expect the national security advisor to drive himself. So he probably had a driver or something. My thinking is that maybe in the next few days we would hear more details about what happened. But I think that the police will be able to get to the top of it. That person can't go far. It must be a very daring move to just whatever happens, pick on the national security advisor's car and take it off. That person must really be somebody who is either there's something he knows about the car, or because it might just not be just coincidental. So I think in the next few days or so we'll hear detail. But I think the car would be they'll be gotten, because even police cars here, in New York, sometimes you have some guys who go steal police cars and drive with it, in spite of all the sophistry that you have in the car. So I don't think that that's a big news. Nigerians can be very daring, even though I admit that that's not something that you want to hear, that a national security advisor of the country, can find himself in that kind of situation.
Okay. Yes, you want to weigh in quickly on the poetry that the guy presented. Very brilliant poems, that I must say, and a very brilliant guy also. If you can just take 1 minute to talk about him.
Yes, briefly, I was off and on, but I was quite impressed at when he was talking about his life and his experiences, and how he moved from various levels, from church and so on and so forth, and eventually found himself into poetry and all that. Yes, I think that poetry has we've had quite a lot of poets in the past. Okibo, Wole Soyinka, J.P. Clark, Chinua Achebe, Niyo Shindaru, Gilbert Okara, and many of them. Mabel Shegun, Jimmy Sholanke. I can't forget Ode Ofemu, and very radical guy, Chinua Achebe, Niyo Shindaru, even Wole Soyinka, Kongi Harvest, and all some of those things. They use poetry to speak to government, to challenge government, challenge certain aspects of governmental policies that they think are obnoxious, are not in the interest of the people. Some of them got into trouble. Some went into exile. I think like Niyo Shindari, so it's probably in Louisiana or something like that, been away. So poetry. Yeah, so poetry, yes, it's been a way. There are newer, younger people who have come in, and these are, some of the old time poets that we have, and each of them interrogating certain aspects of political life using poetry. Some of them talking about just life generally. But it is sad that that's not an aspect that Nigerians appear to be interested in. So, but thank God there are so many new people coming in and using poetry. Chimamanda, one of them, and there's so many other younger people who have come in, trying to. And I heard people talking about music and how some of our musicians like Fela, like Sonio Koso, and so on have also used their talent in music to address certain issues or point out African China, and so many of them, have, spoken to government using music in a way, woven in such a way that, the common man can actually appreciate some of the things that are happening in the country. So I was in and out, listening to the guy, because then I was on motion, and all the accolades that was given to him and so on and so forth. But I think he did well, and I followed it up. Quite interesting session that we had. But let me just stop there. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And I'm coming to Pansa. The man died in the face of now what's the last part of it? That's Oloshenka. And then
Yes.
of course we have the other one that was just off my head right now. Anyway, there have been people who have used poetry to address the Nigerian society for a long time. So I want you, Pansa, when you're answering, to also put that into perspective. Now, why is that younger people are moving away from poetry? They are no longer interested in the thing that ground people. Because those days you could just quote off your hands poetry that you have read, that tickles your fancy. The play of words and all that. Instead, right now we are more concerned about speaking rubbish English and using the F4, dropping it everywhere we go. But to have a refined society, you must have a thinking youth, and a youth that is ready to engage in intellectual discussions. Do you see that lacking in a Nigerian society right now? And then what will you say also of the National Security Advisor, which is what we're discussing? Please make your input.
Igbo Queen.
Hey. Yes, sir. We are waiting for you. Hey, amen, amen. Hey, you say
that's only Igbos on this show, because Tony said that's an Igbo man. So I don't know why we should be speaking English now if everybody doesn't understand what we say in Igbo.
No, but it's an English program.
There's an English program, okay. For the people in the comment section, commentariat, okay. Let me say hello officially to everybody who's on the show. Stay humble. My brother Ike, Tony, and then of course KJ, our host. Let me say that I'm quite disappointed with our National Security Advisor, Mr. Noirledge, because he was introduced to us through Showere, Sahara Reporters, a couple of decades ago. He was the premier EFCC chairman. He came out, the way he was introduced at that point was somebody who was a very ethical person, adhering to moral principle, standards of conduct. He was as an upright citizen, younger. He looked younger, even though lately, when I look at him, he's quite older than the way he looked, but he looked good as a young person, somebody who was truthful, who was sincere, trustworthy, genuine, right? But we now know that it's not, because one of the people he was hounding, aside from hounding our people in the Southeast, right? And when I mean that our people, it includes people like James Ibori, who is from Bayelsa, probably. So he was hounding our people.
Delta. Ibori is from Delta, my former governor.
Okay, yeah. Delta. I've been gone since after the war, pretty much, from that country. They've named all kinds of our people's places, all kinds of names, divided things, Delta, Bayelsa, all that stuff. But let me tell you that he was going after our people, our public servants. And we put up with it because we thought that if he would say it, then it must be true. One of the people that he went after was also Tinubu now, who is his boss. He actually put him in the witness box. I watched all that. He accused Tinubu of all kinds of stuff, and he was working with security agencies here in the United States who are trustworthy, like the FBI and people like that. He was all over the place. He ransacked, harassed, seized all kinds of properties. So, but now that he would turn around and accept to work for Tinubu, right? Now, because you do, in order to appreciate what I'm saying, you have to go and see what he said and what he wrote about Tinubu and what he alleged, what he charged him with. So therefore, he is not a sincere person. He's not trustworthy. He's not truthful. He's not honorable. He's not ethical. He's not genuine. But having said that, I agree with Tony. I don't think that a mishap of him losing his vehicle to thugs or thieves takes anything away from him. That's not the role of a national security advisor to prevent burglary and stuff like that, or theft. His job is to advise the president, giving him expert counsel on a wide range of national security issues, including foreign policy, defense, intelligence, and then, of course, homeland security and stuff like that. Managing those decisions and the processes that lead to that. Staffing the president, coordinating with other agencies, overseeing policy implementation, more higher brow stuff. It's not his job. His car should be protected by the police, which should be local, depending on where he is. And of course, if you're a national security advisor, not advisor, advisor, you have to have national security before you become you have an advisor. Do we have national security? Of course we don't. Right? What is there for him to coordinate? They're just naming. Nigeria has all the names in the world, all kinds of acronyms, all kinds of agencies. But we don't have security in the country. We don't have a policy, security policies. So I don't want us to go into those kind of discussions because we don't have the primary stuff. We don't have the primary stuff. So we're not, say, the United States, where they're getting all this stuff from. The U.S. has national security council. You start from that, right? Am I making sense of what I'm saying? Am I answering your question?
Yes.
You have to have National Security Act. You have to have National Security Agency. You have to have a National Security Council. You have to have a national security strategy before you have a national security advisor. It's not a personal thing. It's not a strong man thing. It's involved. It's an institution that has all kinds of stuff. A country that has national security will not be going through some of the things we're going through. Tinubu shouldn't even get a clearance if we had a national security council and all that stuff. He shouldn't be cleared. We don't know who the hell he is. We don't know where he come from. We don't know where he goes. Like right now, he's gone to France. Is he going through intrusive surgery like Buhari used to do in a Western world, especially in the case of Buhari in Britain, and equally in France? Do you know how wicked France is? You're going to have your president go and sit down and get caught up in France, probably sedated for days. And they get their dirty hands on him and plant all kinds of stuff. Probably control him remotely. Right? So what kind of national security is that? You have your president of your country in France, laying down there, getting surgery, intrusive surgery.
Okay, well, we don't know what he's getting. We just know that they lied that he went to France for to work, because we know that the president of France went to Egypt. But whether it is surgery or not, we don't know that. But if you won't mind, I would say, can you also include in your answer the issue that we discussed earlier, which is the role of poetry right now in the society, especially in Nigerian scene?
Okay, well, I see the way you're putting it. I don't know the way you're looking at poetry as maybe.
No, there was a guest we had here who was.
Yeah, I did not listen to it, but I saw your comments earlier about our kids today. Okay. Poetry is not just things fall apart. It's a literal work which with special intensity is given to expression of feelings. When you hear, for example, that young man that played that music that is on a band right now, that's poetry. When these people are rapping, that's better than anything that Woloshenko has ever put out. These kids, when you listen to music, maybe Flavor, laying it down, both in English or Igbo, it's poetry. Poetry we don't have to glorify Shakespeare as the only thing that's the classics or something like that. These youngsters, rappers, you take your time and look at the lyrics, the way they rhyme it. I don't know how they remember all those things, right? So it's lyrics. I have a guitar next to me here. I could show you a little lyrical stuff. It's poetry. It doesn't have you have to have respect for our own, right? Like let's say I go.
Come on, Panza. I love that, bro.
Thank you. Now that's Ozobuyiwim. When you listen to Warrior, Lay It Down, Ozobuyiwim, look at the lyrics and look at what it's saying about our society. You follow me here, KJ?
No, you have done very well, and you've said it right. That's what we are saying. The man was able to lay down, what he sent. He used poetry to pass his message, and it was well, understood by everybody who had weighed in or who had listened to him, and he has made a mark for himself. And so we are saying that, education somehow have not tilted to the side we thought it will, which is that people have an understanding of all these subjects even before leaving secondary school. And Mr. Stay Humble was able to give us an insight into what happened when we left secondary school. That the desire to read no longer was there. And so people didn't want to, except those whose parents or whose families were naturally, academically driven.
Right.
And go beyond the normal street guy. But however, I want to start from you. I want to move on from where we are, and then there's something I want you to discuss, and we'll go from you to Humble, and then that way around. Okay, let's watch this.
As journalists as well, and as everybody, what is going? So where do we start from? Let's start from, I think, the Nigerian Tribune.
There you go.
I want to be sure that the date is right. Okay. Ibas under fire over appointment of LG administrators. PDP accuses NAS of abdicating oversight role on administrator. Ibas in order, Tinubu gave him blanket check. Okori. Sometimes when I hear some of these guys talk, I'm asking myself, do we really understand what do you mean by Tinubu gave him blanket check? What does that mean in English, guys?
Yeah. Discussing River State. The sole administrator has gone ahead to appoint 23 local government caretaker chairmen as against the ruling of the High Court. So what would be your take? To me, it seems to me that Nigeria has come to a place where nobody now follows the law. You do whatever you want to do, irrespective of what the court thinks. What do you think, Pansa?
Well, I'm quite upset about this, what's going on in River State, because it's not really River State as the target of the shenanigans they're pulling up there. The way River State has been, they're part of our problem. That state, Edo State, Bayelsa. I wouldn't put it beyond Fubara that he planned this stuff with Wike. I haven't ruled that out. It's possible. This River State has been a big problem for us, especially those of us who are in the Southeast. I was in another show that was making the case that the River State, they like to run their mouth insulting us, those of us who are in the Southeast. When we had a war here, went to war against Nigeria, we left our properties and went to war, and they came back and they took it. And they say it's abandoned property. These are our people. These are probably our brothers and sisters when you look back. And they've been troublemakers. They let the Fulanis come all the way from outside the country and some from the north, come and take the oil, and they guard it, and they give them weapons to guard it as they take the oil. Without River State, Bayelsa, and all those people in the creeks, these people in the north would have nothing. They have nothing. They come and they take that oil, and then they use that money to trample on our heads. Right? They're small. They cannot defend that oil. Right? They're there guarding the oil for Dangote to come and take the oil. Now, I know the question you're asking me, but I'm giving you the contours of what matters. It's not what you're talking about. Right? They want, in the last election, 2023, people as far as Taraba, Benue, them, Lagos, Abuja, so many other places, Edo, came together into the coalition to rescue our country. We all came together under the Labour Party, and this is what they did, especially Bayelsa, where when their son, Jonathan, ran for office, the 5 southeastern states gave their son 94 percentile of the votes. 94, 92, 93, 94, that kind of thing. They voted for PDP in Bayelsa. These are our people. The people in River State, they sat there when Wike is singing kindergarten rhymes for them, because it's funny. Let me tell you something. If you look at how Oyibo came and conquered us and took us as slaves, part of it is the rhyme, the nursery songs, emotional songs. When Wike is over there singing something like agreement is agreement to you, and they're chorusing it, they love it. Or if it's Asari Dokubo and he's saying, turn by turn, you, I beg you, wait for your turn. They love it. That's what they have to do. So when they come over there and removed in Nigeria against our constitution, they remove the governor and impose a sole administrator, they don't do anything. They could care less. That place is a place that they could shut down, and the Nigerian government will listen, because they get the oil from there. All these Oyibos, and when I was younger, I used to go over there to party, go to a lot of nice
okay,
parties.
But if you ask me, what I would have asked you, so as you round up in 1 minute, is what would you expect of the Rivers people to do at this point? Because the sole administrator has clearly gone beyond and overboard what he was asked to do. Even though he's illegitimate, yet he has now gone above the functions given to him by the president. What should be the reaction of the people of Rivers State?
Look, if they have a sole administrator, he can do whatever he wants, right? If you do evil stuff like they did, they have it coming. Their targets, people in the Southeast, they're never going to be able to stop us. We just haven't flexed our muscle. We're going to. These River State, and I'm telling you right now, KJ, because you like to get along. You don't want me to, like my brother Ike here, you don't want me to tell you the truth. You want me to get along with Rivers people, for example. For example, I will say some things, maybe they won't vote for Peter Obi, right? Don't vote for Peter Obi. The point I'm making for you, don't be emotional about this. Our enemies are Bayelsa, Delta, River State, Edo State. That's who we, for me, in the Southeast, that's who we have to deal with. Nothing else, not the Fulanese. These people, let these Fulanese Muslims come over there, take these resources to deal with us. They know that if they build train tracks, they won't build it in the Southeast. So they measure their success with two things, which the Yorubas do as well, which is to say, are we getting a better deal than Southeasterners? That's it. Once that's met, then that's what you may grimace, you may turn around because you want me to start advising them what to do. What do I care? If they're not playing ball, why shouldn't that sole administrator take it over? Because we want to come over there and take it from that sole administrator. That's what I was the case I was making. Now listen, I'm going to end with this. What we have to do is to take that River State. We Biafrans will have to do it because they are part of our problem. So it's better to let the sole administrator take it, so they will go and take it from the sole administrator because we can. They are not listening. They didn't vote for Peter Obi, or if they did, they turned off the beavers. They should have protected the vote. They should have gone out there and rioted, shut down the pipelines, because when they were genuinely fighting for the environment, we supported them. A lot of our people were in that creeks. And KJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I thought that you heard me when I'm bugging your people in the north because you were born in the north. But over here, I'm talking about River State now. So why you mad? Okay, well, you could have it, but all I'm saying to you is that things happen for a reason. You have to be strategic. It's not just tactical all the time. Listen to me. Let them suffer what they voted for, what they did. Let them be cut down. They be cut down out of 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. They are the only one that a Yoruba guy, Tinubu, came and took their governor, tossed him out. See, I'm online and I'm always fighting with them because they say, even on this program, you see them coming. Have you seen a lot of them here lately? People from that South. You don't see them here anymore, right? The point I'm making is this. They try to equate themselves with us, the Igbos, who are over 100 million people, right? We went to war for 3 years. 3. I was in that war. So if somebody come and take away your governor, right? A governor that you voted for, somebody came and removed him, you can't even do anything. And they're waiting for the thing to come back. So why are you concerned? It's none of your business. Let them have it.
I think we need to move. Now,
go ahead.
Yes, what my business is, Pansa. Right now, I am, and I'm going to put it here. I mean, I've said it many times. I'm not one of those who is supporting, who is saying, Nigeria must be one. No, it's because we are not behaving like people who want to be one. But however, as it stands now, it is one Nigeria. The East is in Nigeria. The South is in Nigeria. The Southwest is in Nigeria. The North is in Nigeria. So it's either we continue to merge in the contraption, or we all sit down and have a discussion. One of the reasons for this channel is for us to be able to get enough number that we're willing to sit down, and then we all can sit down and have a new understanding of how we can run Nigeria without anybody feeling marginalized or disenfranchised. That's the reason. Not because we are ever going to be able to solve all the problems. Even when eventually, if Nigeria gets to be divided, the North cannot still solve all the northern problem. It will go on and on and on. The South cannot do that also. It will still go on for a while until we are able to understand that politics, or rather governance, is for the good of the people and not those in political office. Having said that, I stay humble. The man in River State, we said here on this channel that it was the biggest mistake to invite a military man to come take over River State. And to make it even worse, the military man is not of River State. Not that we are playing tribalism here, but we are saying that if the people of River State, they voted their own person. And if for any reason Tinubu feels that he needed to put an emergency, he should have taken somebody from River State. Because River State people have enough retired military officers. They have also enough people of goodwill who could run the government properly. So we don't understand his rationale to go to Akwa Ibom to go bring somebody to come be military administrator. That is one. Two, we don't understand his rationale for also telling the man to go take over and then maintain the peace. Just run skeletal administration, pay salaries, and wait until the governor comes back. But today, we see that the same thing that they accused Fubara of doing. In fact, Fubara's one is even better. He had 4 people he was presenting the budget to. This man has nobody. He's a sole administrator. He does whatever he wants. He has sacked almost everybody who has any political office and replaced those he wants to replace, and appointed even new people into positions that hitherto wouldn't have been. There's rumor that Wike went to River State briefly 2 days ago to conclude on that list of the new sole administrators for the local governments, and majority of all the names they are, according to them, is they are Wike men. The question I want to ask in part of all this is this: has it become that the court has totally lost its value, that nobody now listens to whatever the court rules out? Or Nigeria have come to free for all, dog eat dog, whoever can, you can, whatever you can do, you do. Is that where we are right now? Has the rule of law totally broken down in Nigeria?
Well, the thing is that what's the difference between appointing a former military person and then a civilian? What difference will it make? If I were to ask you. So what's the difference between Tinubu and Abacha?
Is that this is my thinking. River State has a problem. You run to a military officer to come and solve the problem. So a civilian is not good to solve the problem. If the military is better than solving problem and being able to lead properly, then why are we wasting our time with politicians? That's the natural default I would have gone to. Because if you feel that there was a problem in River State that needs to be solved, so you are not telling us that it is the military that can bring peace and be able to stabilize and run a good governance and be trusted with the money of river people. 6 billion is given to the man. 600 billion is given to the man with nobody to account. Is it that good?
So the question is, what's the difference between the man and Wike? Is it just about the uniform they wore at some point in their life? Because if you ask me, I think that's just the only difference. What's the difference between Tinubu and Abacha?
There's a lot of difference.
So yeah, I think the difference is because maybe this guy, that guy there, wore military uniform and at some point in his life, and the other ones wore shirt, trousers, suit, and some other things to commit their own atrocities. Because if you ask me, what's the difference between the military people that misruled and maybe Wike or whoever? Yeah, I think they are all the same people. Whoever he had appointed to administer River State, it's all the same thing. Yeah, I'm not concerned about the uniform, whether the person was a military person or whatever. I think they have the agenda. They know what they want to do in River State. And River State is is very complex. It's really complex. You mentioned that the judiciary, whether they still obey judicial. We all know that the judiciary is thinking. So whether they obey court orders or not now, it's not even a discussion for tonight. They'll do whatever they want to a court orders. But I think he's acting a script. And, we don't know what they had discussed. We don't know what they want to do. But again, yeah, I agree with Mr. Pansat regarding the underlying issues, the background issues, which we should not neglect about River State. What's the concept of River State? When crude oil was discovered in 1956, the British man wasn't comfortable with the fact that the crude oil will be controlled by the Igbo man, because it was in Eastern Nigeria. It was known as Eastern Nigeria. And the British man was well aware of the ingenuity of the Igbo man and, what the Igbo man can do and undo. So part of the grand plot was to cut out that from. So that was when the likes of this guy that was the guy that was former student union leader in UNN. I can't remember his name now, a very popular guy. The agitation for core states came up even before the war. COR states, that's Cross River, Ogoja, Rivers. That was when it all started. Cross River, Ogoja, Rivers. In fact, go on, use this to threaten that Cross River, Ogoja, Rivers will be created. And before you could say Jack, after the Aburi meeting, when they came back, the part of British was to create a river state. So the river state was created. And river state, the sole purpose of a river state in Nigeria's political system, whether you believe it or not, is to make sure that the oil in Eastern Nigeria is not used by the Igbos to develop the Eastern Nigeria. That's the purpose. I've said it in I'm here before on this forum, and I will repeat it again and again. That's the purpose of a river state. So, and even their purpose then wasn't to give the power, the rulership of River State to the Igbos in that River State. It was for the Jaws and other people. And that was when River State was created. Alfred Gettys Piff, the lieutenant commander, became the first military governor in 1967. So, but somehow the Igbos managed to get that power in River State, and they had succeeded in keeping it. Even the so-called Jaws, Semilai, Fubara, they are all Igbos, so they've managed to keep that empire in River State, but it's changing really because we are still in Nigeria.
Okay. All right, I like. I'm coming to you.
Could I say one thing?
You always don't want me to conclude. Why?
He's afraid of this that kind of topic. But can I say something real quick? I was gonna say that what's happening with a sole administrator in River State is not limited. If that stands, right, it affects everybody, right? So the way people normally deal with this, there's in court there should be amicus curiae. Right? There should be a amicus brief from every governor to go to court and make sure that doesn't happen, that the president who's elected, if you go to our constitution, all the powers of each one of these people are delineated in the constitution, right? The power of the governor, the power of the president and all that. If you let that stand, then what do we have? Where a president of a different party could come and remove an elected governor and the their assembly of that state. So that's stupid, isn't it? So it's not just a River State issue. It's something that the entire governors of every state should go as amicus curiae, friend of the court, and file a brief to aid the courts, which we don't have courts. Obviously, we're all playing. Right, it's coming down to what I told you the first I came here as KJ, and I'll say this and I'm gone. It's going to be a war. That's how we're going to solve this problem. It's not going to be any of this nonsense. We're going to go to war. We're going to go back. The last time we were fighting Britain, and I want Tinubu, I want the rest of the other tribes to understand, we're going to do it by force, right? We're going to take our country back. We got independence for that country, right, in 1960. So we've tried everything. Now we're going to have to fight it out, and I believe that we could take that country by force.
All right.
There's a lot of us, 100 million of us. So since we cannot do anything with sense, Every time you can't let an Igbo man talk, KJ won't let me talk. All I'm saying, I took time from Stay Humble. If he wants his time, I give it back to him. But all I'm saying is this: we're gonna take that country back by force, unless we do something properly. Because we got that country, and when we take it by force, we're gonna take back everything that belongs to us. That's River State, Delta, all that area. That's our stuff, right? If you if you want a country, go and get your own Nnamdi Azikiwe to go and get you an independence. But this is our country. We cannot let what's going on to keep going on there.
Thank you so much.
That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Thanks, my friend. Stay humble for letting me talk.
Stay humble. Can you conclude in 1 minute?
So, what I was going to conclude with, is the fact that what's happening in Rivers State is the making of Rivers people. Really, is their own making. Since they've elected to have these people from outside the region come take the resources rather than the people that have the resources. So these kind of things will continue because since you've surrendered your sovereignty to someone else, just because you don't want this thing to be, shared by everyone. So that's the thing in Rivers. You mentioned that Fubara was elected. Come on, don't make us, don't crack us up in this forum because nobody elected those people. They force themselves on the people. Thank you.
All right. Here I think let me lay it a bit more clearer. When I say Fubara was elected, at least there was some form of election. Whether that was a true candidate, that the true winner or not, we don't know. But for some reason or the other, look, let me tell you something. My biggest problem with Nigeria as a country, even while growing up, you realize that we don't like truth. The Nigerian government and its people do not like the truth. When you are a truth bearer, you are one of the people they hate the most. Okay, and there's somebody here is saying we are allowing. I'm talking about, a boss as a military administrator that is not a military administrator. He is a civilian because he's retired. I want to educate you because some of you when you come, the problem is that you lack education. Anybody who has risen to the rank of a general is a general in the Nigerian army until it gets into the ground. You have your full complementary backup till you die. You always have backmen and people following you in your house. And apart from that, if there's a situation in Nigeria right now, you are the first line of defense. They will call you back. So please go get your fast threat. And so when we come and see that, we're not just sitting because we want to talk. Some of us have some information you may not be privy to. So it's not just writing whatever you like. Check your facts also. All right. Having said that, I want to move to Mr. Ike. The reason why I'm complaining is because it gives the impression that it's only the military that can solve problems in Nigeria. You are bringing a man in because you feel he is a general in the Navy, and so he can be able to solve out problems. What happened to the people, fellow civilians? Okay, Mr. Ike, your audio has a lot of noise. What if it would have been much acceptable to the people of Rivers? And I say that. And please, let people not tell us discuss Southeast. We are still Nigerians. South is still part of Nigeria, and we have chosen to discuss South today. What we are afraid of is that what if it succeeds and it goes unquestioned? It can happen to any other opposition state that is not a APC state. Governors can be removed and the assembly dissolved, and then sole administrators appointed to do the bidding of the central government. Mr. Ike, do you think that the court or someone said in the news I was reading that the lawyers now no longer, Chido Dinkano was saying that judges are even afraid to even call out judgment any longer because you don't want, to call a judgment that nobody will obey. Is that what is going on in River State? Why the judge's ruling is not being taken serious?
I listened to that lawyer. I think he's a senior advocate of Nigeria. I think he's an Igbo lawyer. I listened to that his interview at is it Channel or Arise? One of those channels. I know.
Arise.
I don't know if it was Charles and Nicolo that interviewed him.
Yes,
Arise. One of those guys. So I think, but I think that I think the 11 governors of PDP has gone to the court over this. I think so. My problem with my worry with what is going on in River State is that if you should allow this to stand, automatically no state in Nigeria is safe. That this man can wake up any morning and decide to declare a state of emergency in any state. And what can we do? We can only scream as we are screaming now. The issue of Fubara, nobody is fighting for Fubara. This is one thing we should understand. Nobody is fighting for Fubara. But everybody in Nigeria is fighting that this man has no power to do what he did. Nobody is campaigning for Fubara because he won the election, no. But we are looking at the process. The process is the problem. That's why everybody is speaking about River State. Nobody is speaking on River State because Fubara won election. And I will take the voice of my principal, who said that he liked to operate from the weakness, from the weak point. Right? So it's not about Fubara. It's about process, my brothers and sisters. It's about process. Because when you allow this to stand, it will continue like that. You see what they're trying to do in Bayelsa State? He wants to step his feet in River State. They've already completely, Tony can be a witness. APC has almost 85% taken over Delta State. Because every day they are decamping to APC. So this is a program. We are saying that we should not allow what is happening in River to stand. I am personally more concerned about process. If the Supreme Court says that Fubara does not have power or has no legal right to appoint administrators, after the ruling, Fubara dissolved that local council, dissolved the 3-man people that have been working in the state assembly, and it was following the process. And all of a sudden, you declare a state of emergency. And the Supreme Court also ruled that the money of River State should be not released to Fubara. Now you appointed once a low man. The same day you said you did this, the same day you released the whole money of River State to a man who has no control, who has no check and balances from anybody. He is the head, he is the tail, he is the middle, he is the center, he is the forward, he is the backward. I don't know where the system that is in is working. Now he has gone again to appoint sole administrators. Some people went to court and court said that it was wrong, but he's still doing what he's doing. Where is Abio? Where is the Speaker of the House of Representatives? Those who said that they're going to be the people that are going to monitor what is going on in River State. Your president said that he will report directly to where is he? He's in France. So it's just my concern is my concern is process. It's not about Fubara. Let's not miss this point. It's the process. The process, we want the process to be the normal process. But what is going on in River State is not the normal process. So everybody should be fighting not because of Fubara, but we should be talking so that that process should be reversed back, so that it doesn't happen in another state. And that's why I'm saying now that the killing that is going on in Plateau State and Benue State, why has he refused to declare state of emergency? The one that happened in Enugu last 2 weeks or so, why have he refused to declare emergency state of emergency? So it is all about capture. These are the states he has marked out he wants for 2027. All these people that this man is appointing now, these are the people that Wike has given him as names. So that thing that Wike couldn't do through Fubara, he's not doing it with that sole administrator, planting his own people. That even eventually when Fubara comes back as the governor of the state, he is going to be powerless. So I am personally more concerned about process. I'm not concerned about Fubara.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, there are many news in Nigeria that we are all of us are struggling to catch up. I also know that Mahmoud Yakubu is on his way out. In fact, he's out of INEC. If you all remember, Wike's brother is one of the INEC chairmen in one of the states. Is it possible that he was going to emerge as the INEC? I mean, he's an INEC commissioner now. Is it possible that he may emerge as an INEC chairman? We live to see. Let me come to you, Mr. Tony, and that's what Mr. Aika said is very, very essential. We are not concerned about who is there. We are concerned about the process. Now, the process which the Supreme Court or which the Constitution of Nigeria have said is that the governor can declare a state of emergency in which he will invite, the president to send in people to come and help. So if the state of emergency is all over the country, if what Tinubu did is correct, does it mean that when there's a state of emergency all around the nation, when he introduces the state of emergency, he himself should step down from the office and hand over to somebody who will now become acting president?
There are so many layers to the issue in Rivers State. I listened to lawyers say that if you go by the security problems or challenges that we're having in the country now, all over, isn't that enough to declare a state of emergency and have the president step down? But you see, the tragedy of the river situation is actually for us a lesson that injustice of any kind, has its own negative effect. First of all, the 2023 election, from the presidential to even the governorship, actually, as we know, isn't one that we can say was free and fair. So on the basis of that, if the present situation that we have in Rivers State, for me, is like a consequence of not following, strictly what the law says in terms of, free and fair election. So that's part of the consequence. And I think that's one of the lessons that we can learn. When the actors, the primary actors were, planning what they would do, they didn't foresee that this would be the consequence. So as somehow they're paying for it. I feel sad for Rivers people who voted and their will, their choice, their votes, they didn't count. But I think it's a lesson for us that, there's a price to pay when we don't do things properly. Now, the issue of state of emergency, whether the president has the authority to declare a state of emergency, I think has been well interrogated, and I've listened to senior lawyers, speak on it, that the president has the constitutional right to declare a state of emergency. But even then, people have queried to say the situation in Rivers State, as at the time, didn't meet the threshold for a declaration of a state of emergency. And if you ask me personally, my answer is no. But again, the president can hide under the cover of, constitutional authority as guaranteed, by our constitution to do what he did. But because that was not properly interrogated, I think it gave impetus to the things that followed. A sole administrator, as the word implies, it's very, very clear what it means. Sole administrator. So if you follow strictly by the literal interpretation, he governs it alone, and maybe in consultation with the president. So what we're seeing now is not new. If the nation allows that kind of a thing, even when people have said that he has no authority to appoint a sole administrator, and the Supreme Court has affirmed that, that the president doesn't have that right to remove an elected quote and unquote official governor, and and he went ahead to do that, and then we just look at it and just make passing comments and so on, and it stays. What then do you expect? It will fester. So I think that's part of the situation. It's up to the River State people to deal with their issue, to deal with their mess, and then what we see following is like KJ has said, you see a situation where if the governor constitution does not empower the governor to remove elected officials, the constitution doesn't allow the governor to personally select those who are going to be local government officials. Then the question: how can someone who is not elected, who is imposed on people, dissolve constitutionally elected members of the assembly, and then every other paraphernalia that comes with the appointment that came from a constituted, elected, people like the governor and so on and so forth. So that's a contradiction. And then I think we're just sleeping over it and letting it go. So I think what we're seeing now, because we haven't been hard enough, in grappling with the issue, the women are demonstrating. Well, that's good, but it's up to River State people to determine, to say whether whether that's a proper thing to do, whether the president has the constitutional authority to do that, and so on and so forth. So that for me is for them to deal with, but I like also to comment on a few things that Pansa said.
Okay.
My representative up to date is a Labour candidate in the Federal House of Assembly. In the Federal House is Labour. In my state, Labour won or became first, even though it's a PDP state, predominantly a PDP state. So when you begin to single out Delta, amongst some other states, I kind of just I just laugh, because that's not what you are saying. Doesn't represent the way we feel. As regards Biafra and so on, and what Pansat was saying, if you look at those who fought the war, the Biafran war, I can give you a few names. We already know that Nzogu is from Midwest, now Delta. Colonel Okwechime fought in the Biafran side, eventually came down to the Nigerian side. He's from Delta. Achuzia is from Delta. Colonel Wawo from Delta. Colonel Oche, Delta. Even Maduebo, who played, who is high-ranking, held a high-ranking office, I think, in Biafra. He is from Delta. And I can go on and on and on and on and mention names. So when you begin to say the key people who fought this Biafran war, officers, I can tell you, if you begin to take them one by one, they're from Midwest, they are Delta people. So when you begin to say,
Tony,
hold on, my brother, hold on, sir.
I'm saying those are our people, that's our areas, and we're going to take it back.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me finish now. Let me please. So what I'm saying is that when you begin to single out, Delta and so on, I know that Delta is not monolithic in terms of ethnic composition, but there's a section of Delta, that clearly stand out in terms of their feelings and the way they have responded, or the way they respond to the situations in Nigeria. I just need you to know that even Effiong not from my state, but he's also from the South. So I think you should take it easy when you are singling out Delta as one of the states that
hold on. I know CM, Dr. CM, just 1 second. Let me say, Tony,
yeah, give me 2 minutes. I'll finish. Give me please. Give me
I
2
want to say
minutes.
something so you could finish with it. Could I say something? What I'm saying
Hold on.
Let me just say something.
When you are speaking,
he's gonna finish, but can I add something so you could finish with
yes,
it?
no problem. Let him finish. Then you can add 1 minute because
okay. So even if you go back before then and you go to Midwest, it was NCNC. In 19, I can tell you something that you probably didn't know. In 1963, we were part of Western region. But I remember that when Awolowo came, it was UPN, he was campaigning. He came to my town. No, that was in 1963 or so. And then he did say that if we don't vote for his party, he's not going to open the tap because we had the pipe laid, but the taps are not going to flow unless we voted for him. But my place is NCNC, and we didn't vote for him, and the taps were not open. So you need to understand the history and the attitude and the sympathy, the sensibilities of the people some of the people over there. So so when you make your case and when you have a right to do so, don't generalize the entire state and make your assumptions. I just wanted to correct that. Yeah.
I like that you put that part because it's not everybody in Delta that was on the part of the Nigerian Army. Mr. Fansa, you have only one because CM also have been waiting for a while.
I know. So, I won't take that. I won't take the whole 1 minute. But let me say to you, Tony, it's binary. It's like when you're looking at a computer. When you build a computer, the language is 1 or 0. All that stories that you guys crammed. I don't know what part of what's your state, by the way. What is your state? Where are you from? You're meeting. What state are you from?
It's from Delta.
I just told you my state. I just told you that my representative is Labour, and but in my state, Obi won.
Yeah, okay.
I told you all that.
That's fine. When you talk about Edo and Bayelsa, is different. Delta. Do you know what's called Delta Igbo? You're probably a Delta Igbo, right? Are you a Delta Igbo?
It's not Delta Igbo.
You're not Delta Igbo, okay? Because you're intimidating those people over there. They almost don't want to say they're Igbo, right? Those are Igbos. But what I'm saying,
never said that.
Hold on, I'm making my own comment. I don't want you to support me.
Go ahead.
KJ, don't support me.
Go ahead.
I want to disagree with you. So now what I'm saying is a binary thing. It's not just Nigeria muscling us down in the southeast because they feel you have the might of the country. We can muscle you down. We can do what Nigeria is doing. The only mistake Ojukwu made, and so many Igbos make, including KJ here, is to be looking at you as one of our people. You're not one of our people. And we're bigger than you. And we can muscle you down. So we'll be fighting. Let me line up because
listen. You have to go get your 6 states. Fight that first. Let Igbos have 6 states instead of 5.
Because
lead
one
that
of the
campaign.
problems we had it during that war, which is to go beyond that River State and Edo, all those places we took in a day. Right? We could do that 1,000,000 times a day. We could take you to go have our enemies come and take resources from there, and they use it against us, and then we're going to fight them and Britain and Russia. Why? We should take you. We should stop them from taking that oil. We should stop. It's a binary thing. You either with us, you're against us. So it's not a thing for you to be counting clan when we're talking tribe. You see, that's what you're doing.
All right.
You know how many clans?
I'm telling you the fact.
Hold on.
That those who fought.
What I'm saying to you is that you're using
in the front line.
No,
were people from my place.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
were the ones that
They're
fought.
Biafran.
So how can you
That's what
say
I'm
you
saying.
come and
No,
I'm
we
saying,
fought the war?
Okay, so you
We fought
cannot
the
have it
war.
both ways, right? If you fought the war, then you're Biafran, and we're going to take it back the way it was. All that I'm saying to conclude with you is that every time you using clan to equate with the mighty Igbo nation, right? Do you know how many clans we have in Igbo land? We have a lot of clans. So when you have a little place in Delta or what the hell you call it, you got more Igbos in Delta than you have whatever else you come from. We have a lot more Igbos there who can also defeat you there. Just the Igbos in Delta alone. So what I'm saying to you is that when you're interchanging clannishness with tribalism.
All right.
Now I'm talking anthropology and you're talking tribe. All I'm saying to you is that we cannot sit there and have Fulanis and Northerners come over there and take that oil or change your governor undemocratically, and you're complicit in the game. Is a stupid, childish game. Fubara, Wike, they're all together. They're not fighting. They're not enemies. They plotted it right after that election to do what they're doing. And then if they set that precedent, then Tinubu could survive. But all I'm saying to you is that if El-Rufai means business and Buhari means business, and they're gonna do the right thing in the north, I know we're gonna do the right thing in the southeast. River State.
You are not doing the right thing in the southeast. If you are doing the right thing in the southeast, you remove the governor of Imo State. You will deal with him squarely. You are not doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing,
that's one place we didn't do the right thing.
You will get your 6 states. You'll be marginalized for years. You haven't done anything. So someone that angry, and go get the East is marginalized. So fight for it.
Tony, we can defeat that whole country in a war within a couple of weeks. We do mop-up operation. That's how big we are. We just haven't done it. I don't know why we haven't done it. That's why everybody's running their mouth at us. We could take that whole country by force.
Mr. Pansa, okay, you have taken more than almost 5 minutes now. So let me moderate. Mr. Tony, thank you for your patience also. And what you said is very correct. And I want to align with that. If we were better, what is going on in Imo State will not be going on. And what is going on in Enugu State also will not be going on. So all of us have our own to go and look at. But today we're dealing with the people of River State. And my question next is to CM. CM, how be it that the mighty indeed is not falling but is sitting down? Because we all have looked at River State as a place where you can't come in and take what belongs to them and they were looking at you. But so far, it's only been the women that are responding to what is going on. Where are the other Sarada Kubos? Although he said that they want to draw him out in order to kill him. Well, the truth of the matter is, why are we allowed? Why are the river people taking appointment from this sole administrator? Traditional rulers going to meet with him, going to commission projects, spending the people's money, and even making all kinds of utterances in River State, and no Rivers politician, no Rivers man or woman, man that is standing up to say this will not happen. Why is that be so?
Anyway, like you, or like everybody, I'm surprised, but unlike everybody, I am not surprised. I have never. You see, I remember during the time of when Nnamdi Kanu was with us in the UK here. We normally go and visit him. Once in a while, the IPOB London or UK branch, we always organize to go and see him. Normally, he do not join us at the beginning. We'll be evangelizing. Then all of a sudden he will appear, and then with the thunderous applause, the IPOB, then he electrified the whole place. You see, in one of his brokers, he used to tell us. He said that the great country called Germany, that was the time of Angela Merkel. He said Germany is a high-tech country by any standard. Very rich, the richest country in Europe. But Angela Merkel has the humility to say whatever what it was worth, that the free world is waiting for America's leadership. He didn't say Germany. He said no matter what, America must lead, that the Europe will stand with America in world leadership. Now they kind of say that thing, what it meant is that the white people, they always know that when they want something, they know the level of their power they can push. But we in Africa or we in Nigeria, they don't know. He said when he's fighting for Biafra, all this, people will be antagonizing him, Igbo, Igbo, Igbo. He said, but without Igbo, Fulanization would have been a foregone conclusion, could have been concluded long time. He said that is like we are the barrier. So bringing you to what happened in River, what is going on in River State. You see, this should have been the opportunity for them. When I say for them, I'm meaning I want to remove the Southeast. For those that said whatever the power they wield, this has been an opportunity for them to say, look, it can't happen in our area. We buy there or we die here. And they have every instrument to frustrate it. But somehow, they have the wealth, yet but they want to be rationed, giving a little, whatever from what they make. So now they are incapable of saying anything. Asari Dokubo, you mentioned, Asari Dokubo started the song Najagaba and Tom. They gave him one small contract, smaller than the one they gave Tompulu. He's making noise. So how can he now talk? Tell me, how can he now say anything? Those of them you see that you expect them to say something in River State, they are queuing behind Wike to remove Fubara so that they can put them as governor. Particularly this
See, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, just to support you. See, I'm sorry, just to support you. Those that they,
I don't know whether my destiny is coming up.
Those that have been appointed by the sole administrator, are they from Bayelsa? Are they from Enugu? Is it not their own people that are taking appointment? And then you want us to be dying for them.
Exactly. That's why why I'm heading to is that sometimes you see this life has a way. You see, life is a university of its own every day, but you don't get a degree nor certificate. You see, the thing is that sometimes, because I remember, do you know that these days I'm looking for all those tapes that somebody have commissioned? Nandekano was broadcasting. I keep listening to them and everything is 1,000,000% correct. So what I'm trying to say now is that if this thing is happening somewhere, come and see the way people will be reacting. I see no reason why a sole administrator in a democracy, you scrap the legislature, you scrap the executive, then you put a military man, a retired, to come and take charge. Now, do you know what this means? That all those projects that Fubara started, whether you award this, everything is a standstill. That's why, if you know, the major thing why I always hate military regime is because of what happened in Lagos. As at 82, 83, Jaconda awarded a contract, Lagos State money, for them to build the metro line from Yaba to Marina. Underground train. Awarded the contract. Buhari took over 84 January and stopped it. The money is not federal, it is state. They stopped it completely. The company went to court. It's a breach of contract. The whole money was paid without doing anything. A French company, no, this is a fact. I don't believe in conjecture. The whole money, Lagos State government paid the company the whole money because it's a contract. Sealed. But Buhari stopped it just to flex power. So what they are doing in Rivers is that all the things Fubara started, doing all this, doing all that. Meanwhile, this sole administrator will never tell you the IGR. The problem of Fubara started when Wike was reporting over 10 billion every month from IGR, maybe about 10, 12, 13. Fubara was reporting 20 something, about 24, 25. That was where the whole thing started. That is the rate, meaning, not because federal government sees the reverse. That is that because Fubara now said this is how much we are getting internally, but Wike was underreporting it. So the people, the reverse people, you see, some people are better positioned to be rude. That's why when people say Igbos are rebellious or this, it's in DNA. You can't try this. You can't. Hope Uzodinma is a different case because he's still a civilian. He contested the election, only that is number 4. They moved him to number 1. You can't compare the two. The House of Assembly in Imo is still there. So democracy in a way is still functional. But that of Rivers State is a pure military regime. Sole administrator, you are answerable to nobody passes your budget, it's only you versus you. You give contract, you don't value anything. In fact, it should have been maybe him and the Wike in Abuja will be ringing each other every day because Wike gave him that job through Tinubu or Tinubu gave him through Wike. So what is happening in Rivers is an aberration. And if the people there, those that claim that, certain things, they want to prove that maybe they are better placed to practice democracy. If they do not resist this or do something, to me, it's gone. Their money is being fleeced out now. Rivers State is like a what is it called? Cash cow. Federal government is just milking the thing. Wike is just making money out of it, and all of them keep quiet. Whether militant or no militant, they can't do anything because all of them are either in the pocket of Wike already, or they are trying to be in the pocket of Wike and abandon Fubara because of fear of Tinubu. For what? Today, I think what I tuned in was to hear you people say that the American court also has given authority that Tinubu's drug file, everything should be released. I don't think I saw it. So that is even the thing we are looking. So Tinubu is a lame duck president. I'm saying it, lame duck. He can't do anything. All these friends they are going, they said he's going there to go and meet Chaguri, the business associate, and then to take steroid because of his health, to renew the steroid so that to keep him fit and be running out. That's all. He's a lame duck. All these things they're doing, it pains me that Rivers State is like this. I'm pained because they should have said, even this Aluta country, this is where you mount it. The whole Nigeria will support you because you don't have a military regime in a civilian era. It's not done. If you remove Fubara, I thought what they should have done was to move the deputy or maybe whoever, a top civil, they say, okay, go and be theirs, and maybe one head of service. There must be somebody. And not to go and import somebody from somewhere, a retired military, and put him there. No house. In fact, I thought they shouldn't have sacked the House of Assembly, even if they are 4 or the 27 they've been reinstated. They shouldn't have sacked the House of Assembly. The only thing you do is that you may bring another civilian to be acting and still be giving so that budget will be passed. The only thing that civilian will be apolitical. It doesn't belong to any party for 6 months so that they sort themselves out. But this one you brought a retired military man from Cross River, is it Akwa Ibom, to come and put in River State. And then the man will be there making a point. Who does he know he's going to appoint? If not whoever Wike submits. Because he's not from there. He's not from there. Therefore, it's difficult for him to know who is capable of being Commissioner for Education, maybe Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General. Unless Wike will be given. And it will be his third term. So it's a shame that these people shouldn't do that. I mean, it's happening. Asaria or whoever, they can't do anything. He just mouth. They can't. They are incapable of doing it. In fact, they won't do. They're looking for contract. But it's a shame anyway.
Thank you so much. You see, that's the reason why we from Africa, we see, sometimes when we come here, people think we don't want to discuss geopolitics. No. geopolitics is not just talking about security. Geopolitics is also being strategic as a community. If the Igbos are not strategic as a community, after the war, they will have all died off. It was a strategic communication or togetherness that brought them to the point where they are today. So some people from the East, when they're talking about strategy, I think they have tested it. And I keep saying this thing, we are not hoping that Nigeria will go through any civil disturbances. Because there are certain people who heard about the war, they read about the war, but they never had any inclination. 2 days ago, someone was saying on the platform that while the war was going on in the East, people in Lagos were going to parties. They are living a normal life. It never affected them, not for one day. So now such people come and sit on this panel and they tell you, you know what happened in 1966? We'll do it again. What do you know that happened in 1966? You don't know nothing. Okay. Anyway, I want to move us to just what CM talked about, and that will be our last discussion for this evening. And please, let's listen.
Tinubu's records to Atiku. The court ordered. U.S. court orders Chicago State University to release Tinubu's records to Atiku. The court ordered the Chicago State University to release 4 sets of documents relating to Bola Tinubu as requested by Atiku Abubakar. They are true and correct copies of the following: an exemplar of a Chicago State University diploma issued to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 1979. Bola Tinubu's diploma issued in 1979. Any exemplar of a Chicago State University diploma that contains the same font, seal, signatures, and wording as in Exhibit C to the First Lieu Declaration, which purports to be a CSU diploma issued to Bola Tinubu on or about June 22, 1979. The Chicago State University documents that were certified and produced by Jamar Orr, an Associate General Counsel at CSU, and communications relating to these documents. The United States District Court in Northern Illinois has given Chicago State University 48 hours starting Saturday to release President Bola Tinubu's academic records to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. In a ruling delivered on Saturday, the judge, Nancy Maldonado, after dismissing Tinubu's objection, gave the university until noon on Monday to release the documents to Atiku. Judge Maldonado dismissed Tinubu's objection to the September 20 decision of a magistrate judge of the court, Jeffrey Gilbert. The judge on Saturday fully affirmed Judge Gilbert's ruling ordering the university to release Tinubu's academic records as requested by Atiku. She insisted Atiku had the right to have access to the documents. For the reasons stated in the court's accompanying memorandum, opinion, and order, the court overrules Tinubu's objections, Section 44, and adopts Judge Gilbert's recommended decision, Section 40, in full. The court therefore grants Mr. Abubakar's application under 28 U.S.C. S. 1782. Ms. Maldonado ruled. She said the CSU must complete all the necessary filings concerning the release by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Respondent CSU is directed to produce all relevant and non-privileged documents in response to requests for production numbers 1 through 4 as narrowed by Judge Gilbert and adopted by the District Court in its opinion. In Mr. Abubakar's subpoena by noon CDT on Monday, October 2, 2023. The Rule 30B-6 deposition of CSU's corporate designee must be completed by 5 p.m. CDT on Tuesday, October 3, 2023, the court ordered. Atiku had asked for the documents for use in Nigerian courts to support his argument that Mr. Tinubu forged a diploma certificate he claimed to have obtained from CSU in 1979 and submitted to Nigeria's electoral body, INEC, for the 2023 presidential election.
Okay. Now, we cannot ascertain whether this is the real video for this week that is coming, but in any case, we'll keep our hands crossed until Tuesday before we can actually know what it is all about, whether that is a true or not a true. Right now, I cannot verify that is true, but that's what's running in there. It's everywhere in the Nigerian media. I don't know whether they are resuscitating it or they are relying on the old news, what we just read or heard today. I know that there are some movements here. I cannot verify that it's still a hearsay thing, but until tomorrow, which is Monday, we'll get a clearer picture whether those documents are really coming out or not. Having said that, I will be coming to you, TM, so that you are the one who just came in, so that you can take a longer time to respond and then generally give us your final closing thoughts so that we can move to Tony and go around all the way to Pat.
Okay. Okay.
Could I ask him a question before he goes that with the
Okay.
last segment, CM? I was thinking that Fubara and Wike are in this together. They're pretending to be fighting, but they're not really fighting. I believe that. So what do you think about that theory? Is it plausible that they rigged the election together for Tinubu, for example? So they just started fighting as soon as he stepped into as governor. It doesn't make any sense how quickly he jettisoned Wike. I believe that it was fake. So knowing Wike and his ploys over the years, I believe yeah. So tell me what you think about that theory.
Straight away, what I think is that this is soap opera in Port Harcourt. You go for somebody who should sort of be an insider, and that is Rotimi Amechi. Amechi said the problem is how to share money.
It's money.
He made it open. He made it open. He didn't even the man talks like somebody in a pub. He said the problem with Weekend is how to share money. And remember, like what I said here, Wike was reporting about 14 billion monthly or thereabout as IGR. Fubara took over and was reporting nearly 28 or 20 or more than 25. So that thing didn't go down well with Wike. You know what it means, but that is by the way. So I don't think, in a nutshell, they are not doing any. But everybody is daggering each other. There is nothing like it's not you rub my back, I rub your back. No, they are not doing it for anything. Yes, they rigged the election because they want Tinubu to be. Actually, even let me speak. Actually, myself. Or if you want to look at it this way, it could be that Wike knows that Fubara may not win the governorship. He said, in return for making you a governor, you will help me with rig so that Tinubu will be in. I will get my own job there. You will be here. So something like that may be what they may discuss, but I'm not particular about it. But that is by the way. So to this Tinubu issue, do you know why? I like to look at something analytically. People that are wishing Tinubu 2027, do they really want Nigeria? Do they really love the country at all? Under 2 years, you can't buy a bag of rice. And you are still telling the man to continue to. How much will a bag of rice be by 2027? Okay, let's leave that apart. According to Nigerian law, when you want to, for whatever, if you want to contest for any election, you register with a party or whatever, INEC. The term of office is 4 years. After 4 years, you register again and contest. The certificate, which certificate is Tinubu going to use to register for next election? Do people always ask about this? Primary school for 2023, vacant. We saw the thing. I didn't feel anything. Please don't disturb.
I would like to add this question to you. Hold on, CM.
Oh Lord.
Tinubu a Nigerian. Let's start from there.
Well, you see that. So now that you put it, you thrown that question. This is also not for CM. It's for those that are wishing Tinubu to continue up 2027. The 2 years he's doing, they are asking whether he's a Nigerian. KJ is asking whether he's a Nigerian. And then people are still pushing him for 2027. But let me not lose my train of thought. So the primary, the column for primary first school leaving certificate, he left it vacant. He did not attend because he don't want to implicate a forged one and roll lawyer St. Paul's College, primary school in Arolo, in Lagos. But the judge will catch, will expose him. He used to say government college Ibadan until they wanted to organize Old Boys Association to honor him when he was governor of Lagos State. Yinko Dumaki said, which state was he, said, this old government college? Nobody gave the answer, and everything collapsed. Tinubu then choose willingly. He said that Lagos, what a government college, Eric Moore, Lagos. He graduated. He chose his own date. He graduated 1970. But the school was established 1974. So that one is another scandal. He quickly removed it. No, these are these are facts. So to be on the safe side, he left secondary school vacant. Now university, he chose of all the universities in the world, he chose Chicago State University and filled it. Now Atiku has punctured that now. Supreme Court said, hey, Atiku didn't come in time, that the time has passed. Okay. Next one, Tinubu is going to contest for 2027. Which certificate is he now going to present? Which university has he attended now? Because
you don't know whether I was attending the university in Abuja, for this. You don't know.
It's possible that he will bring a certificate from France. You have been going to France. It's possible.
So you see, no, okay, it might well be, but I don't know whether people are, because I know that all the documents he used to enter the first time are not correct, so he can't bring it again. This time you can't bring Chicago again. So when I hear people wishing Tinubu 2027, this is as per certificate. Have you asked yourself under 2 years, why you can't feed? And the man responsible for it, you are wishing him to continue, which means by that time a bag of rice might come to 850 million, a bag of rice. So is that what we do? So, he finds it difficult. To me, the man is lame dog. In my own way of reasoning, I feel the man may not, all this hula baloo about 2027, he may just throw in the towel and withdraw. Forget you. He can't dribble Nigerians again second time. People are saying, nah, lie. He go put somebody for neck, he go do this, he go do that. No, it might not work. This one that is there, the guy is, to be honest with you, one, he's incompetent. You see, I've seen people who are looking for job. You will ask him how far. He said, my problem is I can't stand interview. Whenever I'm in interview, I forget all the things and I fidget or I start to mumble, and in the end, I won't perform. Now, Tinubu, whether you rig, you don't rig, they've given you the power. Now you are now the president. Whether you win, you didn't win. Why not perform? Nothing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
He has no plan at all. Not only he's incompetent, he has no plan. No plan, not even one.
All right.
No plan.
So much,
so that is the issue.
Thank you so much, Dr. CM. I'm coming to you, Tony. A guy on the platform says that you should not be surprised. Come 2027, ex parte order will be issued and nobody should ask for a certificate, and that will be it.
That's what I wanted. Much as I share CM's position, but you see, this is the Nigerian conundrum. Anything is American wonder. Anything happens. CM is even more gracious to Babati, because if you start from
again, let me add. You were in the platform yesterday. I was told that I was the negative this thing I'm bringing of what use is it. You see, that's the thing. I don't build on nothing. We look at all the things playing out, and we're not able to bring even one resolution to them. And you want me to come with hope that tomorrow is going to be good.
Exactly.
So when answering, please put all that together. If we're not building a foundation today, and we're building a 10-story building, when shall we do it? Is it when we get to the 10th floor, we excavate it and put the building block, or what? What are we supposed to do? How do we bring hope? Because Nigerians keep telling you are coming from a negative point. What do we do to get these things corrected?
Honestly, yesterday I wanted to switch off as soon as you left. I didn't think that I made a comment, but I didn't think that it was fair, because um, much as you don't have to agree with everybody, but you should respect people's views, give them the right to air their views, even they are saying nonsense. Let superior logic, prevail. I didn't quite like it, but it's okay. Maybe I apologize to you for that. I don't think that, but it's okay. It is okay. We'll move on. I think the problem with Nigeria, I mean, I think there's a book like that, The Problem with Nigeria or something. I decided some time ago, that I don't want to be discussing Nigeria again, honestly, because the kind of news that you hear every day doesn't make one happy. It just saddens you. I just feel nothing comes out from there that makes one feel happy. And yet, this is my country. I have relations there. I have investments there. Even though we stay here, I feel very, very sad because I know what it was, even though it was not perfect. When I went to school, I was paying 90 naira. 19 naira for my university. Some of us enjoyed it. 50 kobo for a good meal. And when you see the way that this country has been run down over a very short period of time, you are wondering, where did we go wrong? How can we have this thing going and nobody is bold enough to say, listen, this thing must not go on again? So, and look at the decay for a very short time now that we have. And so 2027 is not here, and people are already, we had this same thing when people were coming to say Abacha is the best, Abacha, he can transmute and all that, and you're wondering, what kind of people are these? And I am not a violent person, but you see, there are things that you see and you say, maybe we need a Rawlings. I hate to say that, but you see, if things can't change, if people refuse to change, because this trajectory is not taking us anywhere. I'm out of the country, but I still feel strongly attached to my country. I still feel I want to go there. If I retire from here, I want to go back. That's my country. So when you see these things happening, I don't know. I feel sad. I feel sad. I watch, if you go to some other platforms, we criticize ourselves here, and we flare up and we say, but there are platforms that you would go, you will not want to go there again. If you see the kind of thing they say about various ethnic groups, about the Igbo, about this thing, about how there's going to be a war, how they go kill, how they will do, you just wonder whether, with all these things that you see and you hear, is there really hope for this country? How can we deal with this issue? Which way? Because the anger, the bitterness, the frustration, and some of the things that they say are totally not true. They are just they are not based on facts. Someone is just stirring people to just go and begin. I saw the Civil War. My dad was killed. My town was totally decimated. So that's why sometimes when I say I moderate the thing, because we saw dead bodies, we walked over dead bodies. I saw blood, we saw bullets, we were dodging. I'm not saying my father's house, one of my father's house was bombed. My father's second house was the armory. Okay, and my entire life was changed because my father was a senior civil servant, and we were doing well, we were comfortable. But when that happened,
Tony, even without you mentioning the name of the maybe the platform, maybe telling us. I've known the platform you are referring to. But one thing I want to let you know is this.
The platform is this stupid platform
Wait,
of
hey, it's okay.
so
Wait. It's okay. Because sometimes you inadvertently advertise somebody where you think that you are criticizing the person, you are giving the person free advert. What I want to say is this. They said when you do something and fail, if you are doing it again, you are no longer doing it from the scratch. You are doing it from experience. Yes, indeed. Before I know, I do listen to some of those. People do send it to me. I don't want war. It doesn't help. Nobody wants it. But if you should fight a war the first time, you are fighting again with somebody who has not fought before, you have upper hand because you are fighting from experience. You've gotten experience. That person hasn't gotten. So he's just like somebody who had written an exam and failed. If he's going again, definitely he had got experience, particularly a public exam. So some people maybe when they are saying this, just have this at the back of your mind that whatever it, if it happens again, and people have forgotten that the coalition they used in 1967
it's no longer there.
it's no longer there. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's no longer there. Both internationally and within. It's no longer
Within,
there.
yes.
Within, especially within, it's no longer there. And the generation that fought that one are different. This is a ball game now. That's why Nandika used to tell them this is a different ball
And some of them are regretting. And some of them are regretting for taking the position they took.
Yes, and again, then there was nothing like social media or internet that nobody hears what goes on. But people in their myopic view, we feel that once after all, they fought a war. Not you that defeated them, but you now claim the glory. If you want to ask Igbo which led to that, they will tell you who they fought against. Not really Nigeria or this. Erufai the other day was saying, I don't know, because this political era. He said, if not for the Niger Delta, we would have lost the civil war because they were the people that helped us to cordon them. You see, why is what you see where he's laying emphasis? If not the Niger Delta area, so we could have lost. Igbo could have defeated the rest of Nigeria. You know, if I say this, but this you don't take this type of thing to heart. It's just because it's a political era. He's building a coalition, so he felt that any criminal can come on board. With a better arrangement, Satan can go to heaven. You know, that type of saying. So when you hear people say this is just have this at the back of your mind. They don't know exactly what they wish for. The Englishman will tell you, be careful what you wish for. This time, Ndibo will be fighting from experience. Ndibo will be fighting from experience of that war, but we don't want it.
Thank you. Tony, have you concluded?
Thank you.
All right. Pansa.
Yeah, thank you very much. You've spoken very well, Dr. CM. Reality, we have to talk about it. Nobody wants war. War is not a good thing. But we've been in a state of war. We've been in a state of war. Like you said, we're fighting Britain and so many others who covet our natural resources. And these Southerners, they've been a problem from day one. Oh, they were decimated after all, after what they did. But it's okay. What I want to talk about is Tinubu right now. This records, like KJ said, we don't know what's in it. We're going to see what's confirmed. But the angle that I'm looking at it, I want everybody who can hear me to understand one thing. Tinubu is not 10 foot tall. He's a dunce. He did not rig that last election. I make this point all the time, but nobody listens to it. But I know it's cogent. Tinubu did not rig the last election. Buhari and northern governors did with Mahmoud. Tinubu was supposed to win Lagos on his own with his own modus operandi, which is to bribe people, and he couldn't do it. Couldn't pull it off. He didn't win Lagos because those votes really were not for sale. They managed to shut off the beavers. They weren't even smart enough. Even Buhari wasn't smart enough with Mahmoud to rig the election. They shut down the beavers, turned off that IREV. They didn't follow the rules. and then we just took that laying down. Up till now, the results have not fully been released. The courts are gone, that's true. But if Buhari and Rufai and some aggrieved northern governors and northern politicians are serious, they don't want Tinubu to come back again. As far as that's true, he's done. He's not 10 foot tall. He's going to be chased out of that House of Rock because he has not done anything whatsoever but enrich himself. Hasn't enriched the Yorubas. He's appointed a lot of them to great positions. But if you don't have class, you don't have class. Doesn't matter what position you're holding. If you're not a patriot, you're not a patriot. You have to care about that country, have empathy to go there. Even if the president is no good, you can do a good job as a CBN governor, for example. You could do a good job as a governor, as a minister. There's nobody performing any kind of job that he was appointed to in that country because of nepotism. And these people are myopic. They don't care about the country. They don't care about the securities of the country. They don't care about people in Benue Plateau. You see me all the time looking out for people in the Benue Plateau, those who are in the IDP camps, and those that are being massacred where we're losing scores a day. Now, these Benue Plateau people helped our enemies. Now, these are Christians. During the war, it's their people that helped the Muslims commit genocide on our people, their own brothers in the southeast. But at that time, they weren't smart. They weren't smart enough at the time. That's true. So now they've tasted it. They got their comeuppance. They made their Waterloo because those enemies are now decimating them. Where's Gowon? Gowon doesn't care about those people. Now, I care. Even though they did that to us, we're Igbos. We don't carry, it takes a lot for us to step down to people's level. We want the genocide there to stop. It's very easy for me to say, I told you so, you're going to get it. Let them decimate you because you did something evil. But I'm not saying that. So I'm still the one who's always advocating for them, trying to have them do better. I don't know why Dr. CM keep rubbing his eyes. I've been posting on the comment section, private section, that he should stop rubbing his eyes. Maybe KJ could take them off and let go wash his face with water. So now what I'm saying to conclude is this. I don't want the comments that are being made every time we're talking about Tinubu as if he is 10 foot tall. He's not. He did not rig that election. He was barely accepted by Buhari towards the end. And it's Mahmoud and northern Muslims who rigged that election by turning off our beavers. And they're questionable. Nobody could call them into order. Nobody could question them. Now, what Tinubu has successfully done is to put somebody even worse at the Supreme Court. So the courts are gone. So Peter Obi, if he wants to be president of the country, he has to go outside that country, go to the United States, make his case to where what John Kerry put back when Obama was president. You had John Kerry running the State Department, putting all kinds of characters in that embassy to where they would sit there and they would rig our election and they wouldn't say anything. Or they would sit there and have Muslims kill Christians and they won't do anything. So, but I believe with the Trump administration, there should be some kind of diplomatic moves. That's how this thing is going to be resolved. If they make their case, we don't need Trump to help us invade and stop these Muslims from killing Christians. All he has to do for us is to make sure that we have a good election that is transparent, that is clear, non-violent, that obeys our constitution and our laws. If he has to guarantee that, so in the sense that he has to make it clear that if somebody did not win that election, the United States will not recognize them, no matter what Britain says. Once we have that, P2B has to make sure that is in order, whereby the United States invest in making sure that Nigeria has a clean election where our people who were serving, we're going to pick the right person. He's not going to worry about us. A lot of us are going to go back home. He doesn't have to worry about a lot of Nigerians coming to the United States. But there are a lot of people who will actually go back home if are clear and secure and it's transparent and it's the will of the people. That's all he has to do for us. And Peter Obi cannot do anything else because we don't have court. Tinubu, in conclusion, is not 10 foot tall. He's not a Buhari, for example, right? He didn't come from a military-industrial complex. I believe that if Nigerians actually go to that Asarok now, he's going to run away. Tinubu, will run from there because our soldiers from the southeast and the south and those in the north have to be involved in the conversation. Students have to be involved, the young people. Let them know that this is unacceptable. I mean, where people are starving, they have to do the right thing so that if the military is commanded to do something that's against the law, they will refuse it, and then there should be a mutiny. Let the Yoruba soldiers fight the Igbo soldiers. The military does not belong to anybody. It's the Nigerian military. But they go to the store to buy food too, just like the students do. So I'm saying we should stop saying that Tinubu is so invincible, that he's so and so. He's not. Okay. This is his fourth time of winning. Let me conclude by saying it's not just Tinubu. Let me say this because a lot of times I go to a platform and the Yorubas try to talk as if they've ever picked a president in the country. They've never done it. Every time the Yoruba region produced a president, they were actually against that person. And then that person managed to become president, like Obasanjo, for example, right? So they didn't support.
We need to move.
I know you hate tribal discussion, KJ, that's okay. So what I'm saying in conclusion is so important that I don't know what else you want to talk about. What I'm saying is that important. I'm saying that Tinubu is not invincible. He's not gonna win if we stop being afraid. He did not win the last election and he did not rig it. He's incapable of rigging the election. The only way he's gonna still be able to do something are borrowing some Igbo sense, like we kid all our saboteurs. Our problem come from the minority groups who have Igbo blood and Igbo sense over there in that south. Tony, I don't know where you stand. Are you supporting? Okay. Let me ask you. Do you support Tinubu or for this coming election, or you don't? Tony, let him answer that. Tony, are you for Tinubu in 2027?
No. Please, Tony, don't answer. We are having one more contributor, and then we will now shut down for today.
I'll listen to Benson before I go. Go ahead. Benson is a good guy.
I've gone beyond 30 minutes. I gave you 20 minutes to speak. At least you'll be happy with that.
I'm older than you. You're not supposed to be giving me time. You should let me talk as long as I want. I thought you said you're an Igbo man. You're gonna cut off an old man when he's talking.
I can't. Who am I? You are a red cap chief. You want me to be in a position with the Obieze Kosli, calling a red cap chief. All right, Mr. Benson. Please,
yeah.
You have 5 minutes, so that because you're going to speak and round up at the same time.
I don't know if I can speak up to 5 minutes because this Nigeria issue.
So just your time and make.
Okay, thank you, Dr. KJ, for giving this opportunity. Mr. CM, for a long time I've not seen you. I've been wondering, where did you go? And Mr. Pansat and Mr. Tony, wonderful seeing you today. You see, even KJ, why I came in is because what they told you yesterday is what also that guy told me yesterday, that I'm negative about Nigeria. Sometimes you start looking at people. When you criticize Nigeria, you criticize, it doesn't mean that you hate Nigeria. That's why you criticize Nigeria. And those who believe they love Nigeria, you don't love a country which is not doing good. Then you say the country is doing good, or the country will be good. What shows you that Nigeria will be good in future? What shows you that a country? Look at Malaysia. Malaysia came and took our palm seed, in how many in the early 70s. They took the seed and they went and developed theirs. And where is Nigeria today? Even when they took this seed, Adapam, when there was Adapam, I used to go to Adapam. There was Reason Palm. When you go to Adapam in the 80s, you'll be surprised what they're doing. But today, where is Adapam? Now Adapam is completely dead. When you go to Malaysia, when you see this palm thing of Malaysia, when you go to Kudeng, my brother, you run miles, and you see their palm thing. and today they are become the largest exporter of palm oil. Indonesia took from them, and Indonesia became the second largest producer of palm oil. And you look at Nigeria, just only that palm oil could have given Nigeria more than the oil we are talking about today. But that one is dead. You see, so when you are a whole country that cannot make a common election, a country that cannot even the justice system is completely dead, hijacked by Wike and his cronies. You know, like what Pansat said, I concur with Pansat. Tinubu never did any election. The election was rigged by the Northern Mafia. That's the people that did the election for Tinubu. Because they don't want to come there. And they know that if they put, what did this man, Atiku, the South will not like it. That's why they put Tinubu there. That was their only option. So when you look at all these things, you know, and some people who come here, even yesterday, I made a mistake yesterday. The guy who said yesterday, the Fulanis are they're very educated, they're very clever. I really made a mistake because I don't. Which education they have? Education to kill, education to destroy the country. Who made them? Where are they educated? Educated, and they give them quota system. People who cannot, sometimes, only that's what you want to say. You only have already said what I want to say. I've already what I wanted to say yesterday. That's why I didn't attack that guy. Which Northerner, which Fulani man, you can say that he invented this or that. These people, even when they are going to abroad, the government fund them to go to abroad. Well, look at us, the South and the South, all of us. We go to abroad, we suffer to go to abroad, and we made it there. Which footballer? Who will tell me? There's somebody come and I don't know what some people. When these boys, some of these people that were born in the North, and so some of them also behave like them. In a public, I used to be afraid of.
KJ is one
I don't like to talk. I don't like to talk with them, honestly speaking. Somebody come up and telling me that these people they are very educated, they are clever. Which clever? Clever, they are going about killing people, the whole country, killing people. Don't you see that it's a shame to Nigeria? Very big shame that one people are killing. Well, the killing for me is government. Because if the government is not supporting, the last time, I think the older people or these people, they killed them, they wanted to retaliate. It was the army that came. In Enugu, many times, they came to kill the people in Enugu. The people want to retaliate. It's the army that comes. So all they think about this killing is just government. This is government-sponsored killing. That's what we are seeing in Nigeria. So Nigeria, for me, if that's okay, I gave an example last week or last 2 weeks. In Namibia today, Namibia have nothing. It's only small diamond they have and the what they call it, and the fish. No, the cow they export, meat cow they export. But my brother, you can't go anywhere. You see the cow going to a people's farm. You can't even see it's very difficult to see the cow. But they have it one and they export. But in Nigeria, we don't have even that cow in Nigeria. It's only for Nigerian consumption, but still it's ravaging everywhere. How can some people have gone to you see, the thing is that these people are not herdsmen. These people are gangs. Boko Haram, ISWAP, they've sent to South to destroy us. Because in the right sense, how did a cow, somebody who takes cow, who gets cow, where did he learn how to shoot AK-47? How? And then somebody who gets cow now is a kidnapper, making billions of naira. And tomorrow they say this is a what they call it. They say it's a hunter. Who is he hunting? Hunting animal or hunting human being? So the thing is that if, for example, honestly speaking, if that we don't have these Fulani people in Nigeria, even in West Africa, if that we don't have the Fulani in West Africa could have been a very good place, because West Africa have more intelligent people. Go this side of go this side of Southern Africa. They are not there. They are not there mainly. In South Africa, they are not there. In Namibia, they are not there. In Botswana, they are not there. In Tanzania, they are not there. And those people are living peacefully. But see this area, Mali, Chad, all these people, even in Cameroon, they are there. That's where the problem is. They destroy this. That's why this
this what they call it, this ECOWAS are not peaceful. And whatever they bring is only corruption, corruption, corruption. They bring the worst corruption in any place they are. You see, in Mali, there's corruption. In what they call it, even Burkina Faso, all these places is corruption. In Nigeria also, I don't know, man. Well, my brother, I don't. When somebody, that man, you see that guy, what his name? What his name? Whether it's answering for fund or answering for nonsense, coming again to tell me that nonsense another day. In short, I don't want to
All
say
right.
more.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all your contribution. Sometimes when we discuss, people misunderstand our intentions here. Our intention is not because we want Nigeria not to continue. But you see, we need to come to a place, as a man of my age, if I cannot tell myself the simple truth, then who will I tell it to? You need to come to a place where you tell yourself the truth. If being together is no longer working, let us divide in peace. The life of people that is constantly being... I have a video that I am not able to show now of people in the Idoma part of Benue State taking videos of people, helicopters dropping, arms and all that to these people. David Mark spoke about this, even though I think he waited too long before. It was too long before he spoke. There's another video, recent video of T.Y. Danjuma speaking about the same thing. Okay, now all these things are ahead, and nothing is done about it. There is also another news now. I'm here to confirm that another set of hunters have been caught in Edo State.
No, that's true. That's the truth. That's true. They say their wives are taking their guns to them. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, there's another one. They say the women, their wives are taking guns to them.
So now you begin to ask yourself, if we are a nation, a country that is serious, are we going to be constantly lost over these things that are happening? I also heard that the governor of Edo State has paid 6 million or thereabout to the Fulanis that were killed, and is accepted to hand over the Edo people to the Kano state government. And I'm wondering, is this really true? I'm waiting to see videos of it. That's why I've not been able to put it through. Okay? If this is true in a nation where every day lives are lost through these people's hand, and those state governors, the Enugu state governor is the one, even though I have never had any confidence in him, but he is even the most annoying of all the people. What is happening here? And then somebody says we are not serious. How do you want us to be serious? That we should keep quiet and people are losing their lives? How do we be serious? That we leave what is going on? Because if fire is in your neighbor's house and you don't help him to quench it, who knows what direction the wind is going to blow it to? It could be your house the next. So I think when we come here, it's not because we want to come and bash anybody or bring anybody down, but we want to tell ourselves the truth. Perhaps they may hear, and turn around from the direction they're heading. There is an Hausa proverb I love so much. It says, when a tortoise is heading for a senseless journey, and you said to him, brother tortoise, when will you be wise to come back? He says to you, not until I've been disgraced. So, are we waiting to be disgraced before we know that our nation is falling apart?
But KJ,
I'm coming.
Has there been any good news that we didn't share? Has there ever been any good news that
there's
people?
None. Now, this is the other thing that people forget. Between Lagos State and Republic of Benin, you have Yorubas on both sides, but yet you have one of the toughest borders in Nigeria to cross, mounted along that place. In fact, that's the first place I learned the word laissez-passer. People are extorted on daily basis. Traffic is so controlled. Money is the order of the day. Every custom officer and immigration wants to be posted to that direction. Yet, this is a place where Nigeria could have making money if it's well organized. But the northern border, all through from Sokoto to Borno State, is empty, open. There was a custom officer who was speaking and said when they were talking about the smuggling of oil in Nigeria, and he says to them, He was open. He said, look, why would like telling ourselves lies? Every midnight we'll have more than 19 trailers moving from the northern states across the borders. You know, so can they say they're not seeing it? Don't they know it? He said so. They say
KJ, could I make a statement before I leave myself? I agree with I concur what you're saying, but let me say that you know, one of the things, it's true that when I come here, I try to talk retail politics. What really concerns us. You know, it wasn't long ago here, maybe a year ago, when I come on a platform like this one, and we're saying, look, there's ESN is fighting Fulani horsemen. They're trying to kill our people, but these guys are trying to deal with them. And they say, oh, these are Igbos killing themselves. The Igbos are killing themselves. I don't know if you heard that. Everywhere we go, when at that time I used to go to the Edo platform there, which is called Niger Watch, and they were actually saying that this the ESN network that was set up to combat people in the forest, that the Igbos are killing themselves. But then it was not even a year. It's happening to Edo people now. How would they like it if we say, look, you don't have Fulani people there, it's you're killing yourselves. You're a bunch of bastards, you're killing yourself. We're not saying that. But it's not fair. Or the Yorubas or anybody else who's being menaced by these herdsmen. So it comes down to I conclude by telling you the bottom line is this. All the other tribes, including Yorubas, they are hated by these Fulani and these Northerners, these Muslims. They hate Tony's people, Delta people, they hate Edo people, they hate Rivers people. So it's just that they hate them, that they don't get along with these people. They try to embrace them. They try to give them all our resources. They try to fight their enemies, which is us. The only thing is that these Fulanis respect us. They know we're not seeking their love. We want them to do the right thing. That's the difference between Igbos and almost everybody else in that country. They're just being rejected by the Fulanis, who are too daft to embrace others. They go there killing people. People in Benue, these people have been with them for the war against us, allied with them. But they still show them why they are snakes. You can make friends with snakes. So these Rivers people, Yorubas, they love the Fulanis and the Northern Muslims. It's just that those people don't like them. That will be finished. So I want us to try to talk some sense into their heads, because they're not loved. That's it. But they love these people who come there, take these resources, who have been fighting all these years. If in 1965, 66, everybody knows what we knew then, and we could have stopped them from doing what they're doing. We could have stopped them. The Benue people won't be going through what they're going through. People in those forests in the Yoruba lands, they won't be going through all that. So I want them to realize that we've been so nice, because we never say we told you so. But it's gonna stop when I get back there. I'm coming back there, and one of the reasons I'm coming back there is to make sure that our people understand who our real enemies are. It's not these Fulanis and the people in the north, because we're fighting Nigeria's battle for them. What we should do is to consolidate and take what we could take. All these river states, we could take that. You know, we don't want people coming over there and all taking those resources to menace us. So let them go. Let them go and see what we saw. That's what I want to tell you, that so that you know that KJ on this program here, in order for it to be useful, don't look at highfalutin things like unity and this and that. You can't even get along with people in the South. You can't even get respect from people in the South. So what are you talking about? Nigeria and all that. That's nonsense, because Mr.
Pansato, you know one thing, eh? Pansato, you know one thing. The people of Edo, also of these minorities, is the Muslims in those areas that used to criticize Igbos or condemn Igbos. It's mostly Muslims in those areas. If you see anything that happen, even I was telling my Edo friends here last week that if you see the day this meeting happened, all the holy Igbos we are supporting the Edo people. But you see, if it happened if that it was the Igbos that did this, you see many of the Edo people will be start condemning Igbos. But I tell him that you know
100% of them. It's not just the Muslims. I agree with you. Now, we have to stop that. I'm saying it where I fought Ojukwu, like I said, is that I didn't know that. I thought these people were our people. I didn't know that. I really thought that, we have clannishness everywhere. Clans are different. But our problem is exactly what you just said now. I said a year ago, everywhere we go, especially Dr. Sier, when he goes to Niger Watch, they be making him keep apologizing and keep saying that these are not Igbos killing themselves. We truly do have Fulanis in our forests. Now, they're doing it in Enugu and they're doing it in Edo now.
If you they're killing people in Ngopala now. In Ngopala, they're there now.
All right. Thank you very much, Ado. And Benson, Emmanuel, I really cherish the work you do. You really do say the way it is. You are one person that I know that says it the way it is. And I want to tell you that you should keep that up. Thank you. Yeah. And Dr. CM, I'll see you. I hope you're going to put vaccine in your eyes, Dr. CM. All right. Tony, my brother. Once I know who you're going to vote for, if you're not going to vote for, Tinubu, I want you to make it known so that we know now. You don't want to.
No, Tony's not going to vote for Tinubu. No.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who has been with us. Fansa, you've been wonderful. Tony, I always thank you. Thank you, Benson.
God bless you.
Thank you so much, CM. Your wealth of knowledge and everyone's wealth of knowledge and is well appreciated on this channel. We also thank you for your time. You could have chosen to spend your time any other place, but you choose to spend it here. Your time and your treasure, which is also you are paying for your own network. So we thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Those who are on the keyboard, who are behind, whether you criticize us or not, whether you agree with us or not, we also appreciate you. And we want to thank you for coming. We will very much like also that sometimes you'll be able to make your input by appearing and giving us your own idea, especially if your idea is different from what we have been conversing here so far. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be here again next week. This week we're entering Saturday and Sunday. Please join us. And God bless you all. We'll leave you with an advice to the president from Idris. Enjoy.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. God bless you. Have a blessed weekend. Yeah. A blessed week.
Thank you.
Okay. Like he's lost. All right.
But this Fulani, yesterday I couldn't come in. They said the people that came flexing and anyway, the thing about that is that I've listened to a little bit of it. You see, those guys, they weren't answering the question they should have. The question, if I'm there, the question I would have asked was whether ranching is antithetical to Fulani culture, that they can build a ranch.
Dr. CM, we know the truth.
911 billion, 844 million, 833 naira and 46. I'll take that again. 1 billion, 911, 1 trillion, 911 billion, 844 billion, 1 trillion. This money is too much for me. 1 trillion. I hope that is not on the record. 1 trillion, 911 billion, 840.
so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam, thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son. Ask your daughter. How to, just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bound in freedom, peace and unity. Hey, that's so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Arise, oh compatriots. Nigeria call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never